truly a historic moment. Just a few months ago, on the 25th of March 2026, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama led a landmark effort, mobilized the international community with inspiring and courageous leadership. And on that day, collectively, we made history by an overwhelming majority of 123 member states voting in favor of the UN resolution. UN resolution A/RES/A0/250 was adopted. And today, the United Nations record acknowledged that the transatlantic enslavement is the gravest crime against humanity. A major step forward towards the restoration of the dignity and the humanity of our ancestors. The adoption of resolution A/RES/A0/250 marked a significant milestone in the global quest for reparatory justice and represented a collective acknowledgement of the gravest tragedies in human history and their enduring consequences for Africa and people of African descent. We commend our bold, our visionary, and our dynamic leader, the African Union champion for reparatory justice, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, for that sterling leadership. But we acknowledge that President Mahama could not have achieved this alone. It took the contributions of all of you here, scholars, researchers, activists, the youth, and the guidance of our leaders who are represented here. World leaders who know what time it is and who instructed their foreign ministers, their permanent representatives and ambassadors in New York to support this resolution. Our ancestors, Africans, and all people of African descent are eternally grateful to the 123 presidents and prime ministers who made this historic achievement possible. Your Excellencies, this conference marks the first major global platform following the adoption of the landmark resolution. As President Mahama has said, it offers us an opportunity to reflect collectively on what has been achieved, assess the challenges ahead, and most importantly, define a common pathway to advance reparatory justice within the international system. Since the adoption of this historic resolution, discussions on reparatory justice have gained unprecedented momentum across continents, governments, institutions, scholars, legal practitioners, community leaders, and citizens with renewed conversations about historical accountability, restitution, reconciliation, and sustainable mechanisms for redress. The growing international support for these conversations demonstrates that reparatory justice is no longer a peripheral issue. It is now firmly established as a legitimate global concern that demands serious engagement and thoughtful solutions. For those who thought that the UN resolution would be a mere academic exercise, are now revising their notes. We have all heard the apology from Pope Leo XIV, the head of the Catholic fraternity, apologizing for the role of the Catholic Church, the papal bulls that offered theological, doctrinal justification for slavery. And we, led by President Mahama and all members of our global coalition, have warmly accepted the apology of the revered Pope. We have also acknowledged the apology of the leader of the Church of Scotland for the role of the Church. We have also acknowledged the bold statements of the President of France, President Emmanuel Macron, who has publicly stated that France must reckon with its past, and who will be addressing this forum today. He has led France to repeal the obnoxious Code Noir that very dehumanizing set of laws which classified Africans as commodities, as movable properties, that slave owners could mutilate, could maim Africans and get away with it. It was not criminal. And it is quite shocking that it stayed on the statute books of France for all of these centuries. But thanks to our resolution, the work we are doing, Code Noir no longer exists, and it has been repealed. We also welcome the formal communication from the European Union that they are willing to work with Ghana on this journey for reparatory justice. And we acknowledge the formal notification from the Dutch government and the government of Germany that they are ready to return artifacts to the motherland. So the UN resolution is not a mere academic exercise. We are already recording significant progress, unprecedented accomplishments, and all of us in this room must be proud of the contributions we have made to this landmark resolution. Your Excellencies, the significance of this conference extends beyond the discussions over the next 2 days. The decisions, recommendations, and partnerships emerging from this meeting have the potential to shape the future trajectory of the global reparations agenda. We are therefore challenged to think boldly, build bridges across regions, act collectively, and move beyond historical recognition towards sustainable mechanisms to address the ongoing effects of historical injustices. As President Mahama has emphasized, no single institution, nation, or region can advance this agenda alone. Success will require partnerships, shared understanding, and sustained commitment. It is therefore fitting that this conference is being held in Ghana. For centuries, Ghana was held as the headquarters of the transatlantic enslavement. That is why Ghana hosts the highest number of forts and castles than any other country. But today, Ghana is transitioning from being a crime scene to a sanctuary for healing and reparatory justice. Your Excellencies, as we commence our deliberations, we must be guided by a spirit of dialogue, partnership, and mutual respect. We must approach our discussions with the understanding that although history cannot be changed, the future remains ours to shape. We should be inspired by the courage and resilience of our world leaders gathered here and all those who came before us. We will rise to this responsibility. Let me conclude with a quote from the founder of our country, the Osage, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who remarked, "Countrymen, the task ahead is great indeed, and heavy is the responsibility. And yet it is a noble and glorious challenge, a challenge which calls for courage to dream, the courage to believe, the courage to dare, the courage to do, the courage to envision, the courage to fight, the courage to work, the courage to achieve the highest excellencies and the fullest greatness of man. Dare we ask for more in life." Your Excellencies, this conference will deepen our shared understanding, strengthen our collective resolve, and deliver meaningful outcomes that advance justice, dignity, and equity for Africans as we build and construct a new world without discrimination, without racism, and without inequalities. May future generations look back on this conference in Accra as a defining moment when the international community came together not merely to remember history, but to shape a more just future. Once again, welcome to Ghana and to the high-level Next Steps Conference on Reparatory Justice. I thank you for your attention, Excellencies.
As well as to the many institutions, scholars, civil society organizations, faith leaders, activists, and advocates whose dedication over many years made its adoption possible. Their efforts contributed significantly to creating the conditions for a more honest and constructive global conversation. For Ghana, this effort is not just an exercise in diplomacy. It is a moral obligation that is rooted in our history, our identity, and our responsibility as a nation whose shores hold both the tragedy of departure and the hope of return. We do not seek to reopen old wounds, we seek to heal those wounds. We do not seek division, we seek justice and understanding and reconciliation grounded in the truth. And at the same time, the significance of this conference lies not only in the support that made the resolution possible, but also in the willingness of a broader community of nations and institutions to engage in the work that follows. The pursuit of historical justice is not strengthened by narrowing the circle of participation. It is strengthened by expanding it. It is strengthened when those who may approach these issues from different historical, political, or legal perspectives nevertheless choose dialogue over silence and engagement over distance. In that spirit, I urge all participants gathered here today to approach our deliberations with openness, humility, and a shared commitment to advancing human dignity. Distinguished guests, the adoption of the resolution was never intended to mark the end of the journey. It was intended to provide the foundation for a more meaningful process of engagement, reflection, and action. Less than 3 months after its adoption, we're here in Accra to address the question that naturally follows: what are the next steps? We're here because recognition creates responsibility, and because the enduring consequences of this history continue to demand thoughtful, coordinated, and sustained international engagement. It is fitting that we meet in Ghana. A few places in the world bear such vivid physical testimony to this history as our country. From Elmina in the central region and Cape Coast to Asin Manso and Osu, our land holds some of the most visible reminders of a system that uprooted millions of Africans and altered the course of world history. Not too far from where we're gathered today stands castles, dungeons, and the doors of no return, through which countless Africans passed before disappearing over the horizon. For many, that horizon marked the end of everything they knew. And yet today, the descendants of those journeys have returned, not in chains, but as presidents, as prime ministers, as scholars, as jurists, as activists, as historians and citizens of the world. History has brought us full circle. These historic sites connect Africa to the Caribbean, to North and South America, and to communities across the globe whose histories and identities were shaped by this shared experience. We therefore gather not only as representatives of our states, but as partners in a common effort to confront the enduring legacies of this history and to build a future that is greater than the past that we have inherited. As we reflect on this history, it is important to remember that the experience of enslavement was not borne equally by all who endured it. While millions of African men, women, and children suffered the violence and indignity of the transatlantic slave trade, the experiences of women and girls were marked by forms of brutality that have too often been marginalized in the historical record. History remembers the names of the ships, the merchants, and the trading companies. Yet far too often it forgets the woman whose body became a site of exploitation, or the mother standing on the shore uncertain whether she would ever see her child again. For many enslaved women, exploitation did not end just with providing labor. Their bodies themselves became instruments of economic extraction. Their capacity to bear children was transformed into a means of reproducing bondage across generations. Their suffering was often concealed from the official record, leaving them victims not only of the institution, but also of historical erasure. And so today we must also pay tribute to the extraordinary women whose courage, resilience, and leadership have sustained the long struggle for freedom. From Nanny of the Maroons in Jamaica, whose story is believed to have begun on the shores of present-day Ghana, to Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth, women have been at the forefront of resistance against oppression. Their courage was matched by countless others whose names history has failed to record, and yet whose sacrifices helped preserve families, communities, and hope in the most difficult of circumstances. We also honor the women of our time, the scholars, the activists, the jurists, the public servants, policymakers, and civil society leaders who continue to champion this cause. And many of those women are present in this hall today. Their contributions have helped bring us to this historic moment and continue to shape the path that we must take ahead. Their stories remind us that reparatory justice must also be gender responsive. The historical experiences of women and girls cannot remain footnotes in the global narrative. They must occupy their rightful place at the center of truth-telling, remembrance, and redress. And so any framework for truth-telling, memorialization, reparatory justice, or historical reckoning that fails to recognize the specific experience of women will remain incomplete. And so, to all the women who have carried this cause, often without recognition, and who continue to advance it with conviction, intellect, and determination, we see you, we honor your contribution, we are profoundly grateful for your effort. Distinguished guests, as we confront this history honestly, we must also be clear about what it demands of us. None of us gathered in this hall today can be held personally responsible for the atrocities of the transatlantic slave trade and racialized chattel enslavement of Africans. We did not build the ships that crossed the Atlantic. We did not provide the insurance for loss of human cargo at sea. We did not operate the castles and plantations. We did not create the legal systems that transformed human beings into property or denied them their most basic human rights. Those crimes belong to another age. And yet every generation inherits responsibilities from the past. History does not ask us to inherit guilt, but it asks us to inherit responsibility. While we may not bear responsibility for actions committed centuries ago, we are responsible for the world those actions have helped to create. We inherit the institutions, the inequalities, and the structures that history has left behind. We inherit both the achievements and the failures of those who came before us. And the question is therefore not whether we are guilty of the past or whether we are prepared to address its enduring consequences. That is the test facing our generation. Indeed, one of the most encouraging developments since the adoption of the resolution has been the growing willingness of institutions and governments across the world to engage more openly with that history. And we must be prepared to engage constructively even with the descendants of those who made the enslavement of our forefathers and our foremothers possible. Indeed, since the resolution, we've witnessed significant acts of acknowledgement and reflection by religious institutions, including the historic statement by His Holiness Pope Leo XIV, as well as ongoing engagements by the Church of Scotland and the Church of England regarding their historical links to slavery. We also welcome the growing engagement of national leaders and governments in advancing dialogue on historical justice, including the message we just heard from President Emmanuel Macron. Such developments are significant because they demonstrate a willingness to engage with difficult truths and to confront history honestly. Distinguished guests, one of the most important lessons from this history is that its consequences have never been confined to a single geographical region. The transatlantic slave trade connected continents through pain and suffering. It linked the shores of Africa to the Caribbean and to North and South America, and to communities across the world whose identities, cultures, and history were forever shaped by the forced displacement of millions of Africans. And yet, even as it dispersed people across oceans and continents, it forged enduring bonds that continue to unite Africans and people of African descent today. It is therefore fitting that Africa and the Caribbean continue to stand together in advancing this agenda. The adoption of the resolution was made possible by decades of advocacy and cooperation among African states, CARICOM, scholars, civil society organizations, faith communities, legal experts, and members of the African diaspora. And so the progress we have made demonstrates what is possible when we act not in isolation, but in partnership. And so the next phase of this work must be guided by the same spirit. As the African Union champion on reparations, I strongly support the decision of the African Union Assembly to establish an African-Caribbean joint mechanism on reparative justice. The crime we seek to address was transcontinental in its reach. Its consequences remain transcontinental in its impact, and the search for justice must therefore be transcontinental in its ambition. Distinguished guests, the work before us extends beyond Africa and the Caribbean. It requires constructive engagement with partners from across all regions of the world. It requires the participation of governments, international organizations, academic institutions, civil society organizations, faith communities, and cultural institutions. It requires us to build coalitions broad enough to sustain progress and inclusive enough to foster trust. Most importantly, the future we seek must be guided by a commitment to reparatory justice that is forward-looking in its purpose and transformative in its ambition. Reparatory justice is not only about acknowledging the past, it is also about expanding opportunity, advancing human development, and creating a more just future for communities affected by the enduring consequences of this historical injustice. And so our objective over the next 2 days is not simply to exchange views. It is intended to lay the foundations for a practical international roadmap, a roadmap that advances truth-telling, supports research and education, promotes memorialization, facilitates the restitution of cultural heritage, explores legal pathways, and creates opportunities for meaningful partnership between Africa, the diaspora, and the wider international community. And in this endeavor, the African diaspora remains indispensable. The descendants of those who endured enslavement are not mere observers of this process. They are the right holders whose experiences, knowledge, and aspirations must help shape our path ahead. If the adoption of the UN General Assembly resolution marked an important moment of international recognition, our responsibility now is to ensure that this recognition translates into meaningful and sustained action. And so today we must move from recognition to building the architecture for reparatory justice. To ensure the momentum generated by Resolution ARES 8250 is sustained and translated into practical outcomes, I'm pleased to announce the establishment of 3 global panels which will serve as the pillars of the next phase of this international effort. The first is a global advisory panel on reparatory justice, comprising heads of states and governments, eminent leaders, and public figures who will provide strategic guidance to advance international dialogue and cooperation on reparatory justice. The second is an expert panel on the restitution of cultural artifacts, which will support efforts to facilitate the return of all cultural properties, archives, sacred objects, and historical treasures to their rightful communities and countries of origin. And the third is a global legal panel on reparatory justice, which will bring together distinguished jurists and legal scholars to explore legal pathways, deepen legal understanding, and develop approaches that are consistent with international law, human dignity, and justice. These panels are not intended to replace the work of governments, regional organizations, or international institutions. Rather, they are intended to strengthen that work by providing intellectual, technical, and policy support as the international community advances from recognition to implementation. And I believe that, as my sister Mia said, the CARICOM 10-point plan would serve as an important starting point for the work of these panels. Distinguished guests, the work before us cannot be accomplished through declarations alone, nor can it be accomplished through a single conference or outcome document. And so over the period of this conference, we must consider how best to advance a global post-adoption framework that builds on the important work already underway across all regions and institutions. And in preparation for this conference, senior officials and technical experts have worked diligently to develop a draft framework to guide our discussions and inform our collective efforts. Their work is an important contribution to the task before us, and we must now strengthen collaboration among governments and partners, promote greater alignment among existing initiatives, and identify pathways to advance the aspirations outlined in the resolution. Tomorrow, we shall gather at the Christianborg Castle, Osu, and I invite all of you to join us for a traditional Durbar and a commemorative event marking the first joint observance of the Juneteenth anniversary by Africa and the United States. That occasion will offer an opportunity to honor the memory, celebrate resilience, and reflect on the enduring connections between Africa and the diaspora. It will remind us that while the experiences of people of African descent have unfolded across diverse societies and historical contexts, they remain connected by a shared history whose consequences continue to resonate across generations and continents. The UN General Assembly resolution marked an important moment of international recognition. The responsibility now is to ensure that this recognition translates into meaningful and sustained action. And so the question before us is not whether history can be changed. History cannot be changed. The question is whether we have the courage to learn from it, whether we have the wisdom to confront history honestly, whether we have the determination to transform remembrance into responsibility and to transform responsibility into action. Future generations will judge us not by the resolutions we adopted, but by the progress we achieve. And so let them say that in Accra we chose truth over denial. Let them say that in Accra we chose partnership over indifference. And let them say that in Accra we chose justice over delay. And let them say that when history called upon our generation to act, we stood up and we answered with courage. I thank you.
Memo akwaba Ediba TVXYZ to so baby awa wo hwe baby ano nchia kese enkomo papa wa wo tie power 97.9 FM so nchia kese enkomo papa Friday's edition of Air Inside Politics na wasuguso na wo hwe wo TVXYZ3 ebika say yanana wo Air satellite Air television so a me multi TV day box we need him obetumi ehu TVXYZ wo so sa so na Air digital platform platforms so will be who TV XYZ was wa wait to me I shared you made was so na bibia to me akonkai I hope I saw T and Kaswa ye wo power 97.9 FM so one cran crew dream my topete was some part of Eastern region Western is Central Ashanti region Sinano or Mutie Jumedi be affiliate radio stations I also amoma kwai ma woso utumati and cat was Suinano ye chicho papa podum send there bojaye and there fiada and ye kono piti sa idi amedi so Nicholas ya owusu Yawson ubetumi Afro-American Nicholas mamemfa na sekese mama boafo a ombo machi do mamedi dwumedi ede bro se TV dwumedi ye ko MCR ye behu menua keto Abbas aka Hwosika yi osis ken se ade meni da ho CCTV camera da we dia wo fa musika e bechew enti Abbas ende wadane one man commando okwa owo edem ho a ohwe madwumedi no etumi akoso kama pa sa so na ye bra pani ma no kisi ono na ohwe ye sound ede amayen ye ba TV studios ha so a menua keto Francis wa ha Ose mami kredu yani show Francis wa ha nti ono so obo no twa camera se kama pa ansa na ye nua osofo owo mega sesi amaso ne ye mega bi omo ho asoroba kunidi miensa ono so ha Francis obo ye chidom me chese bibie tumi akọ enkansa that's why men Sir Francis and say sufa wa sorry nti no so sa na tie ye pem akoye nima me radem ha menua ba aye friend Elizabeth Tegu ono so no we siesie mi a me momai shan nti sa na tie only on the lighter note na ntia kese nkomo bibia nti wo fie na wo hwe mi wo adwumam bebi a wo hwe mi bia no ntia kese enkomo ye papa saso na wo so a wo tie mo power 97.9 FM so na se kese enkomo nda mabedwafo ne ye Kojo ye boa or former New Patriotic Party NPP youth organizer de ma aye was so West Wagon ye beten or sound so ye spokesperson de ma ordinary Ghanaian saso ne ye nua Charles McCarthy ono si editor in chief de ma The Hawk newspaper ekuku da mi nende mene omo bedi adwuma wo fie ha anti saa na tie wonim se ende so apomuden honkomo ende mu saa anti ade apomuden honkomo ahoro no so beba se ade wo hia Ghana ni bia na ni ma sre ni ma ye ni je pa atrese Mine Black Stars and I say the senior soccer team Black Stars edema mine no ama yeni age hopes aba enti sa na komika say so oko pump stations na baby say go na ade full of prices and meche petrol ni diesel mu na ade kofom kakrakra che say ye hu ha ye de bia meka aban papa ba enti wo ha one say memo bia anda daw fi say aban papa ye den aba no ane say wonso ani nipa enti wo so ha na me so ha na ye boa ma bibia etumi akonkan enti moma ye nhye ne so se enye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama nko na enya memenya osuenya ti ye nyina no ye moa na aban papa or reset mine no enya mantum reset sa na ye Black Stars no so ashase reset nti ye nyina no ye rally behind ye Ghana Black Stars say si aso nyame adom individuals corporate Ghana ene nipa bebre na ede screens ahoro esisi onwuma ku ahoro a chese enya bi hwenti nyame ya adom a Tuesday so Ghana Black Stars ene de enkwa na dwo bebre 8 p.m. anti ye nyina na ye bepie wunya Ghana jersey ni bia repo Ghana jersey ntem na wahye na aya ahomeka so ye de no so player ambo ye nyina ye ntaye kire eni je ne bankudim de ne ba ebo ye nyina ade ba ko amehu a kama ne bom pa ye football we say we no ye wini ye nkase NPP NDC ni na ye kama na ba papa so ba na ye reset bibia ma etumi akọ enkan enti edete no moma yi na ye moa na bibia entumi nkonkan ma me fa nchia kese ma Dr. Dofo eno no ye board chairman de ma Heat Go Force wo kohwe Heat Go Force dwumadi omudi wo Bogos so ne Prisia mine esewani ense de kachero enti omo bo adwuma ye papa capital sika de ahyema omo hwe be develop bogoso any prestia no esewani ense de kachero millions of dollars ma omo de hyem besi schools ahro ene niam ebetumi ama development etumi aba we na ye pre na ye kase gold mining no say ye de maya ye nuano mo wo Ghana ha ometumi aye no ma ye ni ye pa e de aboa ebi ne ye papa Ibrahim Mahama so no so adwuma obo nti Dr. Dufo no ba ye Dufo Junior ne ejuma mpanimfo ni na dwumadi amudi wo ho no ebo adwene ntiase so say on say Prisia mine bogoso man mo ka say hit go first mo ye kra so ani kra ne say mo baaye ariesa na wo e ka no mo de previous campaign no motumi abe clear ni na efi ho ye be ka say hit go first my ade yi papa na vision amowo no de ma ye titiru Ghana mine Prisia ani bogoso man no minim say ma hyase a mo implement enti Dr. Dufo we board chairman de ma hit go first Uba Junior ene hit go first mpanifo am ho ina dwumadi a mudi ne ni so menam baby am ka se wo ya de na wo ye ni a ye beka wanye ni so a ye beka nti de tene no dwuma pa hit go first ma sha ase ebo wo Pristia ni bogoso mpotem ho Pristia ni bogoso mine dwumadi a mudi no so ni nti medidi se Pristia ni bogoso so munye di na monhwe edwuma papa he go for sini ni suade huna owo in terms of omo mine no na development across a omo de ba Pristia eni bogoso mpotem ho no eso eni papa na mining no am wo ma na ye hwe edwumadi a eche se make say community mining no so ya bradwe ne ntiase so mekọ Pristia Uni Valley a ho na mehu gangway fo omo so kwa community mining na chairman sofo ne nua dela omo hwe ye wo ho no gangway no so bradwe ne ntiase so pa monko so mbo adwuma ne saa chairman sofo ne nua dela ene omo gangway ho yina adwuma ambo wabo so ne mpotem no bradwe ne ntiase so saa so na apinto mining maminchia ye nua Ebenezer Agbanyaga commander at saying no so mo bo adwuma community mining no apinto mining ko mo ye ne saa na ebo ma mrantie ne nketesi amano so ye adwuma ye de sika ene ade ba mo ton ade dwedi omudi hote say wo president a reset mine no na sebewa odi dwumadi bi saaba say community mining bebo because in ribi ye beka ya mining bi ano mo ye bebre kasa basa MPP omo community mining na nkwaye basa cooperative one ya be bradwe nti cooperative mining omo ye wo gangway any cooperative mining omo ye wo apintoni na no mombo adwe bata kwaso a ali ne no dom takwajata ne no dom so mo so cooperative mining na omo ye wo no so bradwe nti ase so me de ade no fatase say ye boma baso a ye boma baso mpedifo so mo cause de pinano ye oba pa ma wusimo mo ho te say me gidi say mo ho ye pa sana ma me brother John Afo mu ina mu bo adwuma enti na se ekese enkoma mo papa wo dwumadi a no so mudi na ewie na meba studios menya ntie say narcotics control commission aye kan na kok omotumi abowura Central University student yedim se ma wofo abom hoka se monkonko suade na montum fembo level 100 and level 300 5 students ayachi omo asabi obotawa witampi abimo kano obonsam tawa ebim se gogome ekitadin bebre na nkasa omo ton bi wo school odi bi ye sobolo omo di bi ye tofe omo di bi ye chese niama yesim kosua ina edi bi ye kosua ni moko serious o kosua ni moko ankofu kokodi ye ton wo Central University ho se Central University say Mission University o Central and ICGC omo university no na student amakọ ho mo ye 5 inum na mu di say adwumen ha adwene ye papa adwene ye say student ni di say adwuma nti nakok empanimfo no oma yade so motumi egbewura ho ti yanhwe ne anche ye ma bi omwo eye Central University wo no omo ba abesei aye say ye di bi ye so bolo ye di bi eye kusua ne ade omo kokodi adwene ye papa say bibi sa ekoso na wo hwe empanimfo mo ho mo bo adwuma eye Penny Odano Brigadier eye General Maxwell eye Mante adwuma pa obon bra adwene nti ase so ansa na ne deputy enye obi ase ya ye brother ya di nyina twembere mamo adwuma na kokke bono ye boma baso pa say enye sebiwa ye bode sene ya kwan so but school sim baby information bebia mo be rura ma ye na motumi edi sankofo no mudi bi mu dwuma no omotu omo so sa ma ye no ye niji se sa ne mani na ekoso nti munkoso na mundi se dwuma nti make say de 5 students ansa ka omo level 100 level 300 level 400 no mudi se dwuma ya che omo ina na ye kona ye toto omo anu disem na mewo mi na so omo de abama bibia so etumi akọ enkan nti membo nakọ dwuma ifoni na abaso na bibia entumi enko enkan kin ne dom so mu bogos cooperative mining metia munyina embre ne koyi but ebehia say ye beje apomode ho nkomo wodum say nda ye fiada na nda boja nda jaso pa nti mekọ na me ni victory efo edi nkomo na me ba and then Friday inside politics and some SC Ricky Nano ye better review ye do so mebusum what Kennedy Japan seminal or say June July Echo 2027 and say Messi MPP di mine bonio Kennedy say or person ko heaven to be any name yana doctor encoding komosima enum na members ya
enya victory galek mission na watini dinatiati say na edronite na no pasem ne say edrowe adwuma ye titru pa ne say ebeboa ananna ne srade ewo ni padua ni muntin mu ama ohu atọ kura ye dika obabi wo ha okomfikyire a ema edro awuhia ye victory garlic mixture ebi kura wo bekọ a ewie wo ansa na ba eye victory e na wuhia wunya victory no ma na busumi biara ubenya ofikyire akwa empa ho kura eno de akira obi wo ho aniti ne ta adwa no obi wo ho ye adwuma kakra bia no abrɛ na nakoma bɔ ne periperi ni nyina ye mogya entimi mfa akoma mu nkwa adwen mu eno ne kɔfa saa de ne ba ɔdɔfo mesrɛw so wo ho na wonsɛm ta adwew ebia wonsa no sei ana wonam ro mu na esi fom no kra adwew ana ayatufo sɛ de ade fom ato mpaboa mu a ɛyɛ victory ɛna me kan fom a wonum victory asa no ma ye bobɔ so nyina no ebegyae de ɔtɔ ho anadwo a wontini na wohia victory emframa nyankopon de ama yɛn sɛ yɛ humi wo de wo humi a na wo tie so o bra ɛyɛ victory ɛna betimi aboa wo ye wo bi wo so a wo ho ana ne yɛma hye no a obia na ne ka obia nya ne hwe obi wo so na koma bɔ ne periperi ni nyina mogya ne ntimi ne afusa ne ye wo ni padua no ɛdura awunya yɛ victory garlic mixture de watwa bra ya bia ya na sɛ kokodue ne nam no no yɛ ne basa ɛyɛ victory ɛna me kamfo wunya victory bi no a ɛbɛboa wo sɛ doctor de wato aduro so sɛne a ubetimi anom victory na ka waduro wonnaa ne sɛ waduro no na abɛnom a meetie abiasa no anom wei so na abɛnom a no anom victory no so akyi meetie abiasa woyɛ ne sɛ bibia bɛde kama ama sɛ wo naase taata woyɛ agya ho adwuma a mesrɛw adura mekamfo ama wɔayɛ victory garlic mixture mesrɛw nipa ne bia bia danse a yɛpɛ sɛ yɛfa wɔ ma danse na tie na sɛ wo so kɔtɔ a wobɛnya saa danse korɔ no a
ntwe mi mpedwa mi ntumi ni di mi yare so mane ko be 12 years di man nu ndro kan mo jedru 5 minutes de trim matutu ana se na meti TV mo ntumi na me hwe ne mo se mo tandro bi esi victory heba victory garlic mixture ne mi mtodro sa ba modro no asa modro no eye papa ntumi ni di o mi din sa no me di afi bi no se di ya na afi insana afi no ntumi di bi afi mi di ma edrubone sa bi semi anu so no ntumi di anu so mi gba mu sa afi de anu so bi du bi no ntumi di bi afi mi hu de me nya me ngam ti edo no kan wo TV so a na me kutu bu ni me no edo no anopa eni awiani anwumre no ande no si afi nyampala mi no wa bibia ntumi di mi si afi na tola ta me ko ye black masa modro no die edoni na nyame nhira mo
ajime pa me problem ye menstrual pains nda ne kakra me so me nyame menses no bosom ni ma me bre pa me brankasa me timi to tondro no na ne se man ti se yesi ye bidro ha na makoto be bia me we ntimi fa ka ekọ obi kru so ekoto bidro me timi no abi tese na victory ni de in fact I don't know me die wo mu de me koto obi me ti advert no TV so sada na me sorry anwumre na me koto ye na dana me say ade yi to me padi mu no moja tropa yi to me padi mu ti me twa to me phone so kura say ha adwene a enka me de betum aka ho na mo ahye te say so wa hwe ye kwa baka se na bia me ya bo hye na me no maduro bi te say efi sada na yi sa moja troa no to me padi mu no me nye mezi no maduro emma me hu sa emoja se bi like say kwoti te say ni na flow kama ti victory tie mintini enja ento ho te to de bia na mo ba abasha mo me so abasha na edon ne me di hu adanse
obi si me de cholesterol sa de boni e na aba mi nipadua ma ba di atenase wadro ye victory garlic mixture se wunya victory ne no ma cholesterol ne se ne nani density bia no victory be yi ni nyina afiru nipadua no odofo wo pedia to anama ne 024 25 45 633 024 25 45 633 and 020 129 3280 020 129 3280 a victory nkunimdie ne ade brem.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. Natural mineral water. Simply natural. For bulk purchase, call 0596 273 546 or 0596 273 547. This advert is FDA approved.
Beyond the Bat TV XYZ so I power 97.9 FM so Friday's edition of Inside Politics Remedy na ye de brewi na ye kwaye nima Accra Metropolitan Assembly Chief Executive Officer na Rebecca said the Mayor of Accra Honorable Michael Ni Papo Alote Dodo na bono and Samrani Lord Mayor waye na de ni bi o se kin me na office me ye field marshal nti de bia no nam grounds and so ko pie mu wo second and important on say so wo fa circle we show overhead na se a ibi mutumi the table no mde besi ho betonton fried rice na de na bi mu aye ndan kitwa bi na edura anadwo a niam ekoso wo sa dan mu no ese wani ense de ka kire hwe Mayor of Accra yembo na baso wa badwuma ende one me tax force no omakọ saa edan na nneɛma mu yɛ wom ɛnyɛ fine ansa na ɔmagye hɔ nyinaa wodam hɔ koraa na cars na wonya baabi mfa nti dwumadi a ndokodi wɔ circle ne mpotem nti wobɛhwɛ a mayor na waten ne nsa hɔ no tax force no so na ayɛ wɔhwɛ kwan ho ɛkwan paa nkyɛn na obi ɛbɛyɛ ba ɔno agye wɔ agye ban wɔ hɔ a sɛbe wa yɛ friend sɛ ɔmo no no nsa ne ade wɔ hɔ ɛnyɛ sɛ bibi saa akɔ so nti ɔno Michael ni papo alote ɔne ɛyɛ AMA ne tax force ne ndɛ ɔmo si kwan mu hwɛ bola esum hɔ gates mo hwɛ nti ehu circle Dubai kama His Excellency John Dramani Mahama yɛ nasia kyese hɔ kwan ne da hɔ ɛne na hɔ nkɔfo tsa hɔ yɛ business na do sometimes me do ha na me ra hɔ ebu sɛ nkɔfo de mpa obi tumi fa eyi double bed king's bed na ɔde akɔto wɔ queen's bed na ɔda so ɛne mɛkeka ho na ɔma yɛ dan ketewa bi afomfam wɔ eduru hɔ a sabe wɔ tutu brai a bi mu frɛ na ahyawe aha sisters na ɔmo hyɛ mu hɔ ɛne ɛkyɛ sɛ ndrobɔne ne nneɛma bi ɔmo yɛ wɔ hɔ no mɛyɛ so ɔhwɛ masade nkɔ so wakra metro nti ndɛ ɔne the tax force yɛnhwɛ dwuma pa honorable Michael ni papo alote ɔne ne nkɔfo do ɛyɛ ndɛ na me bona baso a no deserve ɔyɛ dwuma papa MMC no MMDC no nhwɛ so no musu ntu saa na mo ne bi yɛnuanom ɛyɛ MCs ne DCs no because mayor ɔyɛ pay setter we di kan etu saa na mo so nhwɛ ne mo ntu ana mo ne bi because mɛkɔ so wɔn kan ahomete ekura ye wo mu nsuto a hey ɛkyɛ sɛ na hu baabi mfa nwura agye abɔ so obi ehu sɛ nsuo tɔ na afi na wafa sɛbi no waste baller na ɔde gum ɛne na mayor sɛ yɛn kankyɛ obi bia sɛ wo a obɛhu obi a sɛbi ɔde sɛbi baller na sɛ waste bi di gu abra nsuo tɔ sɛ nsuo bɛfa na akɔn wotwa na ɔbɛma 200 Ghana cedis wotumi etumi capture nipa no with phone etwa na 200 Ghana cedis nsamansama so banti yɛn hwɛ dwuma pa ɔyɛ momma yɛn nyina tete wi a yɛ wakra metro yɛn time be yachi because dwuma pa ni enisuade hu na honorable Michael ni papo alote dodo na bɔ ne nsambra ni Lord Mayor Field Marshal oyen abradwe ne ntiase so wohu yenya nipa ba sei se sudu wankran a kyenya na yehu mankran ye senkran yesisi dan basabasa engineers so ye bom ti so no mapampa so pa ene ahemfo bi mu asafo ache bi mu twetwa nsase basa e de ma baabi we sei ekwa ho pe o doctor kwa ho pe no mo ye sade enya tete bi circle ekwa ho pe no mo ye sa nieme agye kwan ni na boso na mayor ne tax force etu saa na moyi yebo mayor abaso saa so na wo so ye MMDC anase wo ye DC ne eye MCs ahoro amato apete ye various eye metro ne municipal ne district assemblies na muso mututu saa na moyi mama yenye we ye no muntu saa na mo ne mayen mayor ye bebo abaso ye nim se wo ye dada nti koso ye ti se Monday wotumi aye ye hwe ball esum ho yɛhwɛ bole sum ho hwɛ ɛdan a yɛhu na nkɔfu de medura na de so a tutu yɛbɔ tutu wom yɛgye ayi Francis ahe na yɛ amoje wonim ɛboɔ no ande mu nkobi munya ɔmo nkobi a na yɛhu sɛ ɔmo gye 30 cedis ne 20 na ɔmo kɔhyem na ɔmo nkɔfu we sɛ ewe akokɔ kra no woni ne dem a dangerous we mu nyina na ɔmo ayɛ wɔ kwan ho yɛ nneɛma bi anyɛ mu gu nkran nim ase me yɛ so ɔmo kwan ye reset mine no nti saa dwumadie na eye honorable Michael ni papo alote oni ne tax force AMA ebo ede boa nkraman bigi se eye MCs ni DCs no so behwe so etu anamo me bi se bi mu ye adwuma ye wo ye adwuma ye baba beka wo mba adwuma so ye baba beka saa na tie because man krane ye na eye nim guase nations capital Accra na eniema bi se ekoso e ha adwene hwe mahu we na se overhead na se na obi mu etonton mo ne ade be aye me hu se baby kwa ya sheda de bo ebo asese o doctor ya sheda de bo nso ko futu de plywood to bo no so eda so ha adwene ye obedu na bi mo de king's bed na queen's bed ne niam na emegu ho ha adwene eti medical aka se enye mayor nko a enye president nko a enye minister nko a ye nyina ne enye ya fam de mboa yenje ya fam demboa Ghana na enye president Muhammad yo Ghana na enye minister na ye nyina ye dia enti se wotimi na wosi kuro no mbo a wotimi bi Sanete, wotim no se kro no mu a wotimi bi. Enti when se oni aye bibi na nya me pa cho. Yentu anamo na yemboa. Wo fi say aye nuasem a na wa reporting to the right channel. And a right quarters. What catch from no more to Sanamon because we na nya fine. It was a be a kwana ye kitwe be a drama dra ha wonto memfa ho. And then obi a kwa ho pay or de slate in near mebegu or cheso ya ba na do ekoso. And so a two brandy renomine near my bonny no mo ye o. E ha dwini yenti ye bobo me ya baso wo dwumedi OD no de boa Accra Metro no nti honorable Michael ni popularity ye tawachi yeta wechi pa dwuma pa wo ye nbiji se wo nuanom so omudi wechi omu na abehwe saa na montui na ometu na bibia etumi akọ enkan kama saa ye nsembre ye bekọ na ye ni eye agbozo herbal clinic fo ekodi enkomo me ametie maso ahwe nipa beye ba ko mienu miensa ma direct omuga bi so direct ometumi akọ ho a omadi adanse pa e de amaye enye bebia ese nkran heya na agbozo herbal clinic wo ye frɛ no eye mema semenhia wo ye bema sida sebiwa nkan no wo bo adwuma ye nanse ahode na abafom utumi tondom enye saa na nyame bo mi nokre enye saa na nyame bo but sesi anu nuane ne niema bi ni penyenti ahode na abafom ma no se ban saa na wanhwe ye a na wo kwayeye Mr. Otua na obiso akoye Mr. Bibie wo ho enye se ba ne sa papa betumi abo infections ahro ema ade anyame ehira so a desin bibia wo wiase no wontimo de eye serious oso otumotimi de ni nyina no papa betumi abo infections ni na pevwe na dede hwehwem de kama pa no aso wetumi anya bi ha obi o candidiasis akamfo ye se de pua ema na teno mo so a na obi so a na ese sent no age ba bia on wo fi okwa na ehu se osimesi na aba ho de bia wo frɛ na nje wo so won kwa wo fi se eye esunsum bi na ta so no wache kande the canopy yare na wo hɔ ama niema enkoyi papa bo no ho moden to oni ebedi nkomo yi wasume bia weni fine na hwɛ na tie nkomo de ma ye nyese wo tie ne kwa wo tie atoma na mu na ode ya dance die ebebre wa ha doctor akwa ababiom
you was okay
na wa show Ghana je si meni age pa
papa jesi na e wa asechire
ho
yes
yo and e chire ho na wa cha na obeche ase wo
asechire ni nyina le se bema bia na was so timi shegu ti se Ghana de
no
oh dear Caleb Chigu
I like your interpretation okay
mamini kanchia team for ne ahwefo agbozo herbal clinic na muni yedinshi na de bia no ye ba ye moto no gina wo ba ko pe yes no man has an expiring date eno ene ye moto a agbozo herbal clinic ye de enenam agbozo e ba ye enye ne ye dwumadi anase dwumaku a ache na ememma dwuma no hu anamu na yegusu se ye tiu se yesi ye boa wona se bi wo memma enye dwuma no na enye no pe ene yesa ya de bi ti se stroke ya ama bi mu abubu agudam na wontumi nante papa na ama obemma ayemmere no yedi hujuma ya le bi ti se prostate enlargement ya ukojina ho no na ojunso na ya asem anase se junso de na wanka ho akojunso aguhu anase ukojina junso no ntumi man ni nyina yeye ya de bi ti se koku a ujai man ni nyina abeda ne hemorrhoid na uja wona ya na ukokobu epie na gbozo herbal clinic se yesa ena yade bi etese infertility low sperm count problem obi a wontumi nyinse oba na so oba wontumi nyinse no agbozo herbal clinic eno so ye treat sa problems no ena ensuo tututu yade bi tese waposo problem rheumatism abapapa rheumatism no eno so related to blood circulation problem eno so ye yade agbozo herbal clinic yesa ni yi papa enti me ma obi biara habio na ma memfa yade bi etese 7 preduasa prostate enlargement no enhase na prostate enlargement ye yade bi a ha emema yi papa na na etai ha memma a wadi mfie eduasa eko age of 30 eko no now no prostate enlargement no etumi ha yi papa every say udi from the age of 30 konwa hormones sana say unkwamwa na ho de no na ashase eso eti eba ne sa pepepa na sebi impreduasa e de yade nkitinkiti e ba nipadua no enti no yade bi te se prostate enlargement no agbozo se yesan ye papa o pe ye kira kwa ye won kran kwashiman ye ben kwashiman Chiefs Palace no ye ben kwashiman ahemfie no ena tema ye community 25 Savannah Junction Kumasi ye dichem so it is a prostate enlargement ena hawa agbozo herbal clinic se fabra ye nchen na ye betumi amwedru na sa problem no efru so enu free hono ma na ye mra yade bi te se erectile dysfunction ye ka erectile dysfunction that be se be periasa obi asabe obe ma ye adwuma na enemrim no entumi nya na adwuma se ne wo se ye na adwuma fa ebi esode a emu nhye dan nye din de bia me ka se be ma no ade a ya wo ho ne se wo ba da wo nchen na sabe obe me eno a esore nso ode ko ba no ho na adwudwu no ana ha adwin yi papa na mo amota face sa problems ne pa no obi a wo high blood pressure no mo am high blood sugar no sa problems we no etatomo pa obo se obe ma no sore na wokọ oba ho a na edum ana se bi wo no mo a oba ne da wo nchen kra ne ho enya wakono wa unni akono ana se atinka no agbozo herbal clinic e wadru papa ememe dru no de bia meka se wo ye be ma biara o hia agbozo herbal clinic ye meme dru no bi o frey ni a be bia wo bia ne e betumi e de asendu deliveries na eye ye wo 2 in 1 ho ye wo 3 in 1 ho enti se o pesa package ti ni bia ye betumi de amana wo be bia wo biara enti se bia sebe producer o pesa wo frem na wo ni medi nkomo a frem was a homa 0241 750282 0241 750282 eno ena ye enkran kwashima ne number no nyame adom ochina Saturday kra ye adwuma ye share adwuma 7 o'clock ye manopa na ya pon 5 pm it is a we be ma na wo hweme na obe masam ne nya agbozo herbal clinic say ye last stop e agbozo herbal clinic ena male genital cleansing no so ye say ebe me dru na ebe cleanse urethra no ebe cleanse sabe prostate no na wo infections bi a cleaning nyina no male genital cleansing no and also e wo honum be me biaro ba ye be ya ma and a low sperm count no member no sabe mo pa awo na sabe se opese hu se be ma se e bia on call lab mpu na opese hu se sperm e yoki ananye yoki kra no a be ma ne sperm e papa no at times no sabe uni oba yi bibi na se opipa bi na se odi handkerchief e pepa na obum de to ho no ma se e papa wo se otwe na e tan entumi wa na de e why easy no e ane no kire so sperm count no problem abahom and I suppose our sperm count no e too watery what you say I say I light let's just say no kire say sperm count problem no e won ti say wotimi nwo a agbozo herbal clinic say Brian chen ye bitumi ahwew e na ye nhwe obanko a ana ye nhwe mema nko a e ma muso mutimi ngo no ana say be due to one or two things inti reasons I want me man bra fibroid da we mu a ye be mu we dre be na ne fibroid na free hono mu a oba wo betumi awo enti e bra me ka say no obetumi afrem was 0241 750282 ena e man no amuni atinka wo mpem ye watinka dru e mema nso ye watinka atinka ena di good erection no eba so be ma be sore no endo atinka ne de ba enti mema no amuni atinka no ye wo packages wo hono mu a ofre ne ababi wo bia no onsa betumi akabi e 0241 750282 ena mesrew ubetumi atu anamon so abaye clinic on pepacho tu anamon na bra bwanka sanka tu anamon na bra ye clinic on me won cry ubesa ubehumi yankasa me won cry kwashiman me ben kwashiman ahemfie no a it is a tema baby a ubia no tema so community 25 Savannah Junction na me upesa uhumi obu a upesa ohia me yankasa ubaba cry kwashiman ye ben kwashiman ahemfie no a ochina nyame adoma sharp 7 o'clock am to 5 pm ye adwuma it is fraud na book you to special book yes book appointment for the doctor ochina nyame adoma pesa me share say oja sabi untumi ma na opese dru no so yemfa send wa ye betum de dru send we meme dru ye adwuma ana ma memra koku adru so ana se koku yade pause a very dangerous one of the dangerous sicknesses are ana yemfa ya adwene enko ho if you say koku de enye yare koku ye yare bone papa koku timi fra wani kooko yi ankasa tumi ma wani ifra kooko etumi ma oba se bi ontumi ngo kooko etumi ma bema osisi chia oba osisi chia kooko kuro ya tumi ma uja ona ya okokobu epi na aba besen ho enti se wo hwe me na wo obi a okokobu epi eba eche ansa na sakom ana se uja ona na bibia betete woto honum na ehyehyew obi won ma humu jampacha agbozo heba oye oba wo oye akora wo oye penyin yade we mpacho etumi obi a pepacho hemorrhoid no anase kooko ana kokobu problem na very dangerous wa hwe ye betumi asa woto honum na ma woto honum abebo pampers eye pass hemorrhoid no sana ne suban etie obi wono mkra hemorrhoid tumi ma sabi otobo no ma nsuo bi efinase eba obema wo na nsuo pampan kankanka sabi ne efinase eba hemorrhoid ne tumi ti se adwuma no etu obi a wugya wo na kokobu pie anase nsuo bi sosofu to pampan wom ana bibie sese wo to hono na de biara da ehyehye wo mu ya wo ya agbozo heba clinic ana bibie so to ahed din agbozo heba clinic se fabra yen chen ye be ma wadru be pa cho frame one number we so na esan WhatsApp 0241 750282 or tema 0557 402696 tema 0557 402696 Kumasi open deliveries ni bi Kumasi ya frame was 0553 417752 0553 417752 sabi rheumatism na how nine on society tritia eba on kai say ya de katie den eba oda na jo se anansi achi nan to anamobra clinic honum pepa cha wow be man na emre mo am diabetes and high blood pressure am mo be man na emre no pepa cha to anamfa mo be kire me e wo clinic honum ewo kwashima na mebe kwashima na himfie no be me biara ohia meme duru ewo se ho ye dene wompem na otimi bu adwuma sa utie mi wo northern region ma oti region Volta Ashanti region western be bia wo bia no deliveries no ye betumi aye package kama na de amaka o de bebrew enti se o peye meme duru na koku aduru ni bia osisi eye wo ya osisi mo hyehyew o trasia enye yi mepacho agbozo heba clinic ye koku aduru ne betumi aye adwuma ma o ye bema o bema na ekiti afo akwakoshim mepacho fra agbozo heba clinic ye be ye aduru kama enti mesrew prostate ya boso koku ya boso rheumatism ya boso eye stroke kura na ahyewa ma o bema ye mre anase wa ye mre no abubugu ne so ya boso ena ya de bi ti se sabi low sperm count no ana obi a wontumi ngo no so ni nyina so yaka enti se o ye bema na ohwe me na o pese o book your appointment frame me ana se ma me WhatsApp message 0241 750282 0241 750282 agbozo heba clinic e beji so ana se tema 0557 402696 and a commas 0553 417752 ye adwuma from Monday and past 7 na upon 5 nyankopon ya aduma ochina a Saturday crown puni ye transit from and past 7 na upon 5 p.m. de biara da ye hwe kwan so be ba na ya ma wadru no wanum na ho ayede hwe insu etotototo ya fe na yade ahodo yade ya ntena ha mudi no ene nkyere se yensa enye yade biara na e ba ye betumi aka ne nyina ho asem na mmom no se wo yade bi na ha wo betumi afreme ana be ma me WhatsApp message no wo bisa me ho asem be kyire mu nyina akyerem enti se onsa no nan agene ayetetiriti oba penyi ai se onante a ana se odade be kyina honam nyina ya wo ya so uti pains and as a blood circulation problem and urban also do when it's like bozu na yema wadru nanko it is a open package ni bi say pulse and how and as erection no a member drew no per package ya me pa chop my WhatsApp message 0241 750282 and obetumi anante aba clinic honum oba ye be test ahodo nyina oba so ayo massage ahodo aye no honum e wo kwashiman branch ho enti baba to doctor me angasa kwashiman enti frame 0241 750282 wo kumase opay package ni bia ana se obetumi afri kumase 0553 417752 and atema 0557 402696 ye bubo world cup ye nantem into we rekra won nantem enti brabeji edru no bi na mo hwe ball no namu di jimweni enti ye ma world cup packages enti da from boko world cup packages ye ma enti say ye bobo no goals ni ba ye didi no na yesu ye nam low key na yesu ye bo goals ni bi gum eno ano no hu ane say ebedu next year no na ya kirim sa akwasi ye bo last year world cup ni akwasi ye nyim ten no na say ye nya world cup ba What you see? It is sana me come for gozo herbal clinic ama. It bra. Uye penyina person wo be ma twa kom kitik and as you from me nyina be boa.
Okay.
0241 750282. My WhatsApp message and as 0557 402696. Yeah betna ya na enim asema ye be ka bium kura ube hu de betumi ayam na mo watu amamo na bra na ba ye honoma ye be ye treatment ankasa ube ma na ewu no e be san sorry to say de nyankopon e ka kire mata say Lazarus no ube nyane no ye be nyane ube ma na mo to say Lazarus na tumi apodwuma mo me da asesa o hwe me na sa tip frame na enimi ni nkoma na say book appointment e wo me WhatsApp message no so na nyankopon ya adoma o so de wa dance beba me da asesa o hwe me na same time next week.
Okay, enti the attendant Akbozo Herbal Clinic na ekwaya ya ne doctor no edi nkomo na wotie me a wonim say World Cup here kosui wo pese o hwe live telecaster wo hu me koso USA, Mexico and Canada. Kai say TVXYZ ye be ya mount ya na wahwe bi radio no so call Power 97.9 FM a yes a live commentary kama pa ye the bro ene Radio XYZ 93.1 and also there's a live commentary nti TV na de wo hwe TVXYZ saso na me pacho radio ne Power FM ne Radio XYZ na bibia to me akonkan na ma memfa inchia kese emfema honorable Isa Salifu Taylor, member of parliament the ma takwa insayim honorable nyame hia wo hwe Sale me ame ba takwa ma me behu ya wo ye ma takwa man a ebradwe ne ntiase so se oku nentwi bebredi mo bia samo musika se o fendi sala nyame show na yenim se takwa seat no na no go area for NDC but magic a wutumi ye honorable Isa Taylor etumi gi takwa nsayem akonwa ni si ho wagi asesi an wagi for keeps sa na yebeka no because yanka say dia so abetu form watakwa nsayem no bia aka say Isa Taylor de omuhu seso da watakwa nsayem ho na wo bo adwuma yi papa o se ke Nicholas World Cup me pese TVXYZ ya ye de two giant screen so ma nkofo hwenti takwa main station ho or the giant screen besi ho abra TVXYZ yi no na chese o mo takwa main station ho ehwebi sa so na Simpa Park no so or ye fan park power Simpa Park ho na ndum de dem a giant screen no so TVXYZ that's why ye yi born man nkofo hwe ansa na nswayem park no so fan park pa no so enije inti Tuesday 8 p.m. Kick off time ba me na wo dia nti baby am obi by 7 na me ho chese ye na ye hwe na enije wotakwa nswayem takwa main station ho Simpa Park ho ansa na nswayem park ho ni na no by kan ketisi honorable Salifu Taylor dodo na Freddy Sheik Isa Taylor ono na oye masade yakoso opese takwaso mu fimi World Cup fever na famo hu takwa nswayem na mu fili enti mo bom pai man because ono abo man behu na bradre na ntiase so ye pai bo ne senya me ma wa hode o ma wo nkwa na nimdie any vision awo edema takwa nsayem na ntum mbra no mu say yes NDC aba na waji akonyan for keeps wo to aso na wonimdie ne ntete ne wakoma pa wo ma takwansa yam bibie etumi nko kanti honorable Isa Taylor mami cheche opapa shek Isa ho ye menche webo chairman so chairman Danlad no so be did say chairman Danlad so ho ye pa enti eguso medical ka chairman say honorable Kennedy Japan atuja na MPP munjina yi o say obetuja pa nti ende bebo video no na ya kamu asem ye nua kojo ye bo abeba sa so na ye hwe nim say Charles McCarthy so ebeba na bibia etumi akọ enkan na me pa cho ahia me pa sa wonti Congo ehia me pa and nsam ni gu ho but ye tie nsam ni na no ye ti amayosem ye boga na ho kro ni na so no na ye yare ahro a ye benye ndra ye betumi de tu ase no endo so ehia pa nti naturally ventures Natural Ventures, producers of Congo and Sokoto. Papa na wa hanto betre Sokoto bam. Ye. Anu oding. Mate wan semana eye manije sem se enne omo hu se agiatum platform we. Omo mbra so nti wa wo tie me, wa wo hwe me papa no wa ha. Naturally Ventures odin komoni na brayen bam papa. Pen bia wo read dem no bedwane ne nsansan ne ade na abekọ enti tie ne na yenhwe bebi ebenya bia to hwe screen na se a no mba nso ne gu ho no eyeduru papa eja mema akwa aba
ene kemejo so
mema ba bibi abokọ de
radio adum na so
nyam yas yesu ye ho ye pa and the pair wo eye Congo ni Sokoto mu no ye di mo
so important but a career do so nti ehu kramo papa nti bon se edumre bia na ache se enkofo bi obetena fidie kase bi se so na udi nkomo e de afa enno ho a bon se na asa enkofo twetwe wom ho saa na ene me do sha se e de wo afri eye Congo ointment na Congo ointment obi bebusa se e de ba de e na eye Congo no kra no e de ben efri hifa eye natural ventures ene akofa Congo ointment no e de aba na Congo ointment no say na tie eno na green and white no blue and white say na tie ntemesrew ma wani enku ho efie bi ahia Congo ointment ene me hia ye enipa wono be frebra mesore free show yiso na me ne o madi nkomo kakra bi e de afa Congo ointment no sanse ensuo tototo obi ono mo a ne mpabwa na se nyina awewe eti ase na awewe sa no wodi betietie ensuo mo bedu fe na propra ye ne na ase nyagro obetimi no ansuo hie tututu no ne na asisim se ne na no se de aye ni nti no pese niema efiri wonom ko germs ne ade fungi aye ne na ho se pika eti owro ne mpabwa to a wonya hwene efie no nso nyo no nko na te na ba akumu ne adofo ne tim eti so owro ne mpabwa to wonom na obi edwane krama kra wo fie onom no kra no mpese obetena dem ho mesew so was our problem di bi na se ena ho nka bone wo na ho apapai wo nsam aye yirichiri wo nsam aye ya wo de chia wo na opeba bi afa mesew aba ne sa na je se wo ahwe bedumre bi na mfofo chia kra na mo chia wo untimi nkochia bi esansa wo de no nsam wo ya dina mna borosho eji asa sabe wo de nsa chi kra na ewuru wanim obi chia wo nsam a na ayete se de ya bo waba no obi so wachia wo nsam a obekasa ne nsam kro ordinante eba ne sa wo hia se wonya fresh skin wonya palma emu ya soft me say da bia wo chia ma akob say na wo nsam na bete say ane ni nyina agya se Congo ointment beme igari wie ya mi pie free bath house wonu ma no mi o table bi okona ho ebi gugu so enu abi nam de sasa ba bia mesew no kra ne se so obosakora te se de meme bosakora metete abodwe na kanwi yesan ha yi a de oso oye ne se wo mpese wutinwi no efu a ebekeka wo a omoto mu a wayi no obi wonu ma se efu a na ayete se bombs bi ensan bi asisi ni moto mu ho no mo ye ne ya na ayete sasabe ya frane den empompo bi no eti se koba ne sa obonsa no wo te so eba ne sa bonse wuntimi nshatade ene ye no yakwa adwuma ahomache pon anajo esum twbo na wanya ne sa wonso untimi ni di ma enye yi ene da kakwa na ekoso koka sa aban si enye ni se obeka jo sa nya ban na tosoromenti mame eti ni nyina no se wa ma ohomode na nya adwuma am sa ho yade skin no mu yade honam wani yade am wantima nkwa adwuma so a woni baba ho so no ne yatu afiri fie na oyere no ma obaji di umbedi ukunu no mba ekom ne bekum wo mo eno ntina natural ventures adwene ho a yade eye Congo ointment aba se na tie sade aduroi eho tie no saada ena tube na ewo mu onu miatie sa na nkane no ye frɛ no sa miatie no so saada ena tie edi ntimesrawo ukoba bi eton no drugstore pharmacy shop ne chemical shop biada ubenya eye Congo ointment ne biato ho na woto a ubia no fufuo no a ewo ho no a no amia kakra so otiri no wayi a uyewie ya na ade nsuohye ade abonsuohye na ade apepepa otiri no eho na afi eho wo a na ade Congo ointment ni bi asra ho hwame die sa na na me ba adwuma me ye no me de asra ho kama pa sa na me ye no nti eho nkeka oda about you say the same thing me yewie ya me kofie na me de tawo ebonsuohye na me de pepepa ye me wie ye no enam de bi srasra ho nti ebefu ebeye from enwi no beye mete na efu kama enya de se akwa keka wo a wodo nsa ka se kura na ewowo edumre bi a wo ben wo yira na oba wo ne te kura wo hage wo na ewowo no wadamfo bi ahia kura wo hage wo na ewowo eye wo ankasa ye watiti wa mensa agu wo no enya gro fa Congo ointment fa sra ho wo no anka bone e wo hona no odene wo ho bon da bia menya akwanya meka se eniema mienu ena wo ya se wotwam wo nkrofo nchen obesa atwe nani abehwe wo de edi kan no ayese watwa media free nipa ne nchen no ya wo kronso ho bon wo obetwe nani abehwe na ho ana no ho bon se yie se spray ya wo ho ana se ngu a wo sra ya no nso ehwam a ono nso de oye ne se odan ho no ahwe asemasi ni ho hwam papa emire bi ya atwam wo no na mfifire te wa enye etimi kura ma watade ne moto me fufu a bonse na edane different color mesra wonne maminton Congo ointment mfama wa was a problem ni bibia no use Congo ointment wo de omoto no efu a fabi wuyi a fabi sresra ho ebe kama enkabone no ba bia wo bi ebe firi ho nantama proper na hawo eye Congo ointment mesra natural ventures na ediaba natural ventures yani yadi Congo ointment ediaba manenye wase hia fasra wuhia nku a ebeboa na o skin no nso atoso a eye Congo ointment ena no ada na MC afo ebusa me number ene number no am di tudwam so mo mfa no mame mo mfa sa number we mame nti minim sa definitely mo a mo hwe XYZ no mo ankasa ena mo sanso etie Power FM enti mesra number ni tie ne hye nso fresese ya o fre number isese ya ne encho ba bia benya Congo ointment ni biato e ma no so mutimi di siesie mo ho mo de kwa ha na infections ahodo etetu ni nyina tu afiri wode ama wo nantama propo what sra nkubiam wanima ye nanso obeya nya sam ketua wanima ye basaje so de seka akra na wurawure ansa na wanima toso ensan ni na gu ho a wa beya manfo skin eye kama no wo dia still now skin no aye bad ohia Congo ointment fasra frɛ number ema me sese ya 0204 61 61 61 0204 61 61 61 we akwada na so wa akwada na se opesa akwada no ne skin no etoso a ene die kwanso a fa Congo ointment sra no sra de ewom no ehwam perfume ewom no ehwam pa enti wankasa kan body no a eboa a soften wo skin and say ni bi agua ma ho na mani aye basa fa Congo ointment sra mesra MTN number no 0549 tie 0549 it mesra MTN amon sesa na mame instead of 0249 no 0549 mon sesa mame 0549 017 101 0549 017 101 eno ne numbers ofra natural ventures yabaje oso eti Congo ointment na babu to infection ase wo a utimu nso eho a wom no ebetu ase kama ede ama yesere ya manima is smooth me ko TV so kra mentan use powder sansa time bia manim ya dry eye kama hwa skin no sa no anam desra eno a ebuwa manyifu ohuna mani yade nyina betu ase de ama na mesanso almighty Sokoto ba ma wa bai sasabro kum krofo ma ne mema mo bre obi akobobo ni na ya frichi sa na me na naka no ni na frichi o ya edura na dwukro obedi di ontimi ni so okotena ata maami ekiri mane wo ye ni ku aduane wie no atwene na ya ma no ene Sokoto ba mo aba ba bia pain no wo skin no mu bia body no bia no ebetimi aboa na atu ase de ama edura ni di Sokoto ba etimi say ya frame Sokoto mai utiri yo ya mesrew mia bi fatu nsuo chiem na twetwe komu na wa nkwada nhwa nkrom ho ama oba meka njo say this is hippopotamus dada you are sleeping like a hippopotamus enye guy mesrew mia kakra na fatu nsuo chiem na afa twetwe komu enkabone wo otirimu na wokasa pampen wa chenye betu ase de ama eye Sokoto ba awa ba nkrofo bi agese ya kyekere wom ya de bandage na bandage wom te say Lazarus aye kwa akokora no sanse ne honam ye ne yada bia sra sokoto balm wodi anopa odwade wi a fa bi sra anadwo wo koda fa bi sra me se magic e wo aduro we mu no you've never tested it enti now wo temenken no kopɛ sokoto balm wudu drugstore le na wa akra ubenya dodo bi ato now pedodo nso atua Mr. Friend Natural Ventures your numbers near 0549 017 101 0549 017 101 and a 0204 61 61 another 61 Mese baby ya wo nipadua mu bia wo coin na ya wo ya ebia wakodi board ama na ya abu ebia sciatica pain ena eha wo wusisi yade no chese ese kra de aba ne se mama ne bitimi fira o se bra me de bitua yo na sade ama me sisi ne ya dwuma makoa so de agina so nika draw nika emuo no kwadu asode wo mu no enya goro wonso a wata atena wo so che da biara da na obodi na yenwuno eya fa sokoto ba mfasra enura ya dia sokoto ba am no obi a wayi su bia busa se magic be ne was a dream ni den de sokoto ba Natural Ventures and aye me say so de bi sra ba bia pen ni won na se ankwa next week masa ba fidie so bra ba jusika ni den de sokoto ba enne mentonchia na koto sokoto ba na be so hwese oyade no enkwa wherever you feel the pain sa wonsa wabache wabakon wabeti wobuna ya woya wokasa na omu ya oya woyesi na omu ya oya wodi odwade wi ada ho ne amfa bi nsraw mese me de yamfa ntwetwe na duro na dwuma a ebo no magica eye no you have no idea woto ase ya pain no na etete wo a fa bi sra ho nom sciatica pain e beko wonkotodwe wona nkokom eya wo ya wugina o chaka ganje se dog ni kwanti mobiem wugina o chaka kra na na nkokom epo se masokotoba emwa wate fasrasra wodi oba be ye adwuma na ahwe ba bia waposo a wuntimi nyoye ne ya na dogi no yehia wote ase sanse na anu agro se na se de dogi no waja me se he me ja dogi no makodidi yi wada we mu eye dogi style and is on koto dwe no ntimi nyoba no wontimi nyina ne na so a masa titibi srasra ne pechi wo ne nkoto dwe no fa sokotoba am srasra san ma start business and you will love it. Fire number ni say a Natural Ventures 0549 017 101 and a 0204 61 61 61 and they entna ho arthritis en ha won tete wo mroso mesrawo sokotoba amaba wodi odwade wia fa bi sresra body no ba bia wuti pain bia fa bisra obi ono masabe impredia diabetes yade na ha no enti da bia no na ofele ewo ne skin no mu se ne honam ye ne ya wo sra ebewua akọ the last layer of the skin na akoye dwuma ewo ho me se Natural Ventures na diaba ba bia ton no bia benya bi enti me bo number ne bi na ma so akọ eye 0204 61 61 61 and a 0549 017 101 0549 017 101 and a 0204 61 61 61 Natural Ventures your numbers no Nick
yo eti meda was papa Natural Ventures manufacturer of a Sokoto bam ene Congo ointment Congo de meti na che pa Sokoto name say obanche
we branya we brand new boy
but Paul Ambantamo sin edikan
obi obesre bi o say magic
wo hwa magic no baby to friend numbers na go screen ase no nim penifo nkasa na bibia into me enkonkan meka chere mo say honorable Kennedy Japan odi ne birthday week mu na birthday no mu nkomo no de nsem bi aba o say MPP for no an nkofu no bi ka say o ye bitter pa wo eniema bi hu me pese ye beti honorable Kennedy Japan na nsem bi a waka na o say June July akọ 2027 ade a nsem obeka no ensem ho no no boy Japan so Kennedy Japan aka say ensem ho no te say ensem hihye sumase MPP di eboni mama enko tie sensem no embraces ya
The more person Ghana ye. The more my young can correct. The Unia, yet. Now see Union men can. Over then I will pray what I say. Ghana. Ye. I can't bear first with Biggie. Now, me are disappointed in the army of Nasapo. Say, Mimikwa. Or no, a chairman. Or no, a chairman. Omu sanity who said the Bena or the Parliamentary Select Committee on Defense and Interior. A coin. Now, Uncle checking in minutes. Say, she a friend beside or car say. Omo aye up to 85%. Then I hear call Oma mi uncle. See, Minya, Assembly Abba, NDC for mistake, MPP for mistake. A Ghana, and ye did not to a passo, and ye who. Yeah, the only pa, Omo Yaria, Minka, Obi says, ye didn't call China. A refer will be or India. ATC, ye Yabako India and China. Say Yabian Toa and I will say, oh, more dainty, put me cut in Opibia. May MPP for them ye better. Men can be the answer. Now, Omufi said, Niomo Yano, our campaign, they may they can shut me down. Ghana for Mutia. Mummy say agenda 111. To be completely back Ukraine. Almost ton contract, and the other people at 10%. Ghana, maybe say, and then NPP, they should be careful with me. So maybe you're better. Only a mess beans all over the place. Now, when I catch you, say, my president, maybe free me sight, never know. I'm only thinking of the youth of this country and not NPP. Agenda 111, Mummy say, they sold obey contract now. Now I got home. Watching 10%. Anybody to me, we are moving about the criticizing NDC for me, and we're being so dear. Contract, Abraham, he said, on ye now on tier 11%, $55 million or per 11%. And you on tier advance 7%. And so I'm Masa. Ghana, Ghana, politicians, we are deceiving the general public. And we'll be entering Kamanuntu. My jeans everything mean Casania, you know. But be to me scared about this country. So long as I live, Nami Ghana ni, Nami 2 coin, Nami Musani and Kofo, building Womukura. Me ma Odia scare me, Ghana. I'm not afraid of anybody. I will only speak the truth. And so I'm promising you to one of Budin agenda 111, one Gia, I won't put please, I am Ghana. I mean, we are sorry, Pamuko Hospital, baby. We have to be fair to Ghanaians. And obviously, we are better. Now, what do I mean? Who can say we are better? Who will be? Now, what I can just say, President, big one. Why in the catch yourself president in Kwa? Everybody, we are more sorry, I'm more quiet, la sulala. I'm more begging for a businessman for Sika. Come and see the people that are coming to me. Mina officer, me a better. Most of my winning, opposition, who is talking? Who is talking? Because I think the work to bring in Amoto. Kasa says he up there. Yababa the fall. Who is defending MPP? I've been quiet. But Ogia to me and Kamikasa Boa and show. My shed out my 18. But Obia Pawania documents are never out. Rather catch them say, be me a bitter. MPP 4, we couldn't fight Galamsey because majority of executives in Union, no me Galamsey. And also woman control a woman platform. Miss Rome. Miss Rome. Then a book country nisa. We are more be blame me a bitter. Me a bitter said the other. It makes me call election, you make me lose. And I really don't care. But I'm not going to work for MPP That mean I will have a catch 10 cents of Canadian Japan. And now let me talk. I mean, over purpose of Mimini Abronia and Kojina platforms in your campaign. Mimini Atachia and Kojina platforms in your campaign. Mimini Adrastapo and Kojina platforms in your campaign. Mimini Chairmansa and Kojina platforms in your campaign. Mimini Koka and Kojina platforms in your campaign. You don't put out next year, you see what will happen in this country. You think I'm afraid of you guys? I am not afraid of anybody. I've decided to keep quiet. But if you push me to the wall, you will see some power. Please. Nobody can scare me in this country. Nobody. Better. Oh, God, you know how much propaganda. More mistakes you want to hear. Say Parliamentary Select Committee on Health. Ranking member, Ekas Omukwa and Kura and Yayo. What to know 8 years ago? Well, who's in Kura? Ebao. I didn't get a moment to Canada. What to know 8 years? Well, who's in Kura? And now will be about 15 months ago. Okwadi in Kura. My gun and you that the youth of this country, a day will come, they will rise against us. One here, a near my basic grammar. If you see what Tunisia are only anything, if you are a politician now, things out here when you scar, Monfoso, Namia Bita. This time, Obia Beta tell me, I'm a Tebiachero. What do you mean? Abranya, who is it? Abranya, me? The Nancy come and correct the campaign. Or say, Bawamia, Ecofa, Esiami, I'm not the Tuno, which I say, I'm the man. The man car first. And you know what choosing me? No one was stationed. Masada Mighty. Me say from June 2027, MPP for minimum action will Ghana. You will be surprised. And you are I am not afraid of any human being. I am going nobody can intimidate me in this country. We will speak the truth. Anything that is not good for the country, I can Japan. I will speak. If it's good for the country, I will speak. You better boni pabaso. If you won't now could defend the LPPR, and please, I urge you, information you asan wa bekasa. Anya sa kwaya obefa so akasa, mi so matumi akasa bi. Mi so bia e wo Ghana. Obi aso mo bra enche. O pa bu tu kwaya say dey see and respect you na be do. Wo obi ti say koka say me ya pa ni tirim. Oni me beto no. And before me say July, you know action e wo Ghana. You be surprised. You think I'm stupid? I'm stupid to come and follow you guys again? I'm stupid. 10 cents of Canadian Japan. No wait and see what will happen. Me catch them. Me see me swim cabinet. No wait and see. I've given you the time. Say June 2027. You see action in this country.
See, no honorable Canada Japan and I do this odi the birthday kwachiche near mana yanini grant interview no this answer me too mo. Emeka say kodwa ya boa waha wagina konya or a former youth organizer I also West Wagon or sanso kasa de ma ordinary Ghanaian no waha and sana editor in chief edema the Hawk newspaper Charles McCarthy. Yabako commercial break but san komo yebedi hu komo ansa yakwaba nti kuku da magin kwenyen ye delve into nsema keno de ediabon aka say June July akosi 2027 there modowala kodwa kwaba bibi aboko there yen so say delve with kasano asana bibi aba Intina yedi sankomo kodwa over to you
nyame sha me fa kwanya se na me cheti fo ne ahwefo se ne fiada so fiada mo so otimase nsasa wa beto to ne za bebe kana Japan obi ancha kese ngoma no
yo
otimase mi ade be chi woni pa wedu bebe nya achum na mempe otimase so otie ni kasa o kasa ye na the base no mo kan say ne dia
tell BBC no the spokesperson
almost one can woni bibia ba wuti o se mo pesa me ma adwuma biem mo be hu kwa me dem be fa so it means o ba bi no pesa ko ba bi
because ni nipa na ejako su na emu ye campaign
o mo ye ni crofo be bre campaign etu be nyu aye nyu ba hye so no wa hye otimase ede ni nyina so ede na na aba ede na obi ka okọ campaign na crofo ni di na temi nyina wa hu kwante ada na wankasa ye wi ada na fe ne oba bontin aba be ka wi ana o person pati bi ofi government of the day hono na
or person can be no say can beboa e be o issue bi am me ni akira na that question is it buza broken Japan not to me say obi for na ekasa asem we a metima so ni mu opon si aye ni nyina kra Japan no so we dig go for tempa o won so tia go for na so pa it is some of us I believe in a way you people as no we do ni nyina etie na so etie ni wa otima say
yes
broken Japan ansane alanche mati ebe fi MPP mu no what Alan squad na Craig Japan na kufa do niema boni oyeye na ntwa kwan na nya nyina Craig Japan na leadi what the so ka se kojo mpianim what ni ting na di na tam di wo mu nyina to so kaya sa ta mo no leadi kufa do niema what ma say en wo ye ya na tam di die ni ha wo mo ha ye sa bad niema mo hihye ni nyina ma lanche matifi mo de koy en na wo na ka election bonyo plan so be ko bi wo and on your plans of baby bia and on the contest so we are kind of ha lunch Martin Abba ye it is no at the same committee winning it after the Mekobi originally and then Crawford so fast as a bobuga and on a bank to free from on go to free so yeah at the buy Satam Sadi will cost so you beer wait Macasa yeka to office and the papa and more party near that we are the yeah Baba Baba Yewe, and this is funny, a come of free Madam Pine, and this is funny and Miss Momo. All can so tape, no, or send this minister be no, I can't minister, or send this penny be at the contract 55 million, a brand a year so pay 11%, no only can just 7%, and so tea. And the only this in phone. And as our contract apart from minister, and I see will be able to contract now, baby. And yes, our point is a point here 58 plus we see with no Omokano. You bet there, Minister Bako, what must say? Sakwa way. Yeah, so person babo mudi agro besa be hinimu ato.
German o.
Onye papa bia and nane answer. Me ko working piski. Me say and nanopa go kimpiski. Me ko hon man opportunity. So no me ko do hon mom restaurant hono. Yeah, you know, Cocotown. Could you pray mine? Me drum got to breakfast, ain't no breakfast. Me drum, me transit. Oh, whom me on the channel for me and some you know, oh, whom me no catch almost a million, sorry, dangerous person, Yaba. And sorry, this one not to again Papa Ben, the one team, or yet is so in Papa Pebby, and Uncrophobia didn't bonnet, it will not dear young Papa Antonio Freno. And near my wife, you on your feet and people moving heavy. And near my when your feet and people moving heavy. Contract I can see 100 million plus.
The whole Ghana, Bob, yeah, no,
I even Michelle Bob. Sandy, I'm going to send this
for buy an Esha Bob.
I even the Esha, regional minister,
about Corey, a regional,
who almost share. I buy an Esha, or respect my Indiana were he. Etianu Sanyama we also no contract nyama bebre on so de man na wa anyenti no se bibio be on de wo fa we no afari hospital no when do car no wo bibia wo ye bibia and this for next si omo aso no ne yira for mo tototo do ska akokodi omo nge ska ketwa and nyama contract akọ no nya de ketwa etimema mo nge ne so so be sign people na be say we wono onye ni papa bia no
ye betwe na akọ yoku
na bibi no
court sembe be
sa na ya consider say they said oh yeah dear as me boa me nuamo June July meba adwuma meba mba be ya boa that is no bo but that is no bo onye ni pa bia sa mu gigi ne so ekwa bia de oye bia so no so ko gira mra nim no mo fa ne ko gira ho ne UP plus aye support those calls on there sa ko ehunu so enipa boni ni number 1 etonye obi a ese waba ba omi ya ni pipi ya ni so mutimi ma ada kan hu do base bo for base mo Ghana ni bia ni da research ko agenda e ko so enhihye pa e ko so no aka individual de o mu sabeka apart from no bibia e ko so ye etinya wo kana Japan na ba be ka ho ada na nka ba ko no na no de elusia no nka ho wo ka ho de na ade ba mu wunti me hu etima ma mu ngegi sa akwa we so onye obia wo pe no pe sympathy FNDC wonti no obo sa atwene we no e bad drum no obo mu no tima ma NDC for ngegi e ba NDC for no bia de na start and am move so manya ni papa de na ba fie wo ba beto mo na wo fie akwa onye papa bia me ma mu ngegi manim ngegi we eti da me da me catch owura kana Japan ni say sa adwene na wo ritimi ye hu ba bi ofiba ene ba bi okọ bi obi na okọ China for do ma ba try ai kimpiska no patutu wo promo do ma fangura bi mu otumaze o pangura bi woni China ni taking peace ku ya de o Who didn't quite he tell the
businessman.
Business to which business? Memo be at the 10 person. What to tell me to be a comobi. No, we are not in second percentage. What we are one time was say with you. No, we are not telling you no control by no Dianica. What about TV to radio? Okay, maybe what the MP, some say minister. So then could the Bono Chiaka. Send the power of exam, Nessa Moja Geneso, and could be the contract, and on Cornemo Yimpo, so the Pampo in Pabonimpo, we didn't know the other name. One better someone to expose in the panel. If free and now I take on the Bano, and 24 by Brebanshim, and when Paquan got 55 million contract in Echo. At the end, NDC for Mamma when you get aqua so. One of one NDC that she shed ye, or more money, and you are more film, with the topics no, the air devil. What am I say? Maybe an Brasta issue, a honor topic, a honor, what am I say? Ma'am, guess I have Bob Akunitino. You are so near France.
Has a kind of crown. Yes, so yeah, no, why? Coffee Adams one hour. Ne fiada. Matisa Waba. Okay. Metain Waba. Oshabon Waba. Matisa. I could be. And I mean, me, Busan, not a could be man. You better do come on. But the can, don't forget the can. Charles Makati, and come where I can a Japanese king. Now, you perceive the home Comoca Cransana be will be a Diatuasu. Charles, yes.
I'm in Chow.
Miss Michel Papa.
Michel, for new Atifu.
You be a Joso.
Machow production. Head of production, Kevin Asante. Nama bompire man.
Hamebe. Men can be be every
Macha
Kevin, I make him now is you training me, brother. Nenzu tournament, Newtown, Kevin, Jack, on Zoo, Boabranti. No bro. What producer for 35 years? Who doesn't know from one? Me find some can be drop on half for.
I saw no my say present
no, Nasa Mudi, Bonnie Womutim, Mukwa Mufabi Murphy, and one also a much sumu, ye womo, Camera Maruno, or more a force a crampo. MCR, womo. What must I say? And number Tano Bobidi, Kevin Yabondi, was a former baby, who knows the man for Mukwa, the Biana Margin, Munina, brown bag, and get to bomb Jim. Bonnie Bell, if you Mugabe, and open pong, Munya sang as bag, Ada,
or so than near black.
Munya's idea will who cry, young, we are winning. Me who come on so is to Cabin. Cabin news to Cada. Ade,
I mean, come and see
once and one bra.
Can you go last? Kennedy or Hinia Japan, a summoner, ye cano. Could you see Ghana phone bungu? A Kennedy says, ye fan some serious. Many name yarding. Kennedy knew Biakeke. Kennedy a co-parliament, therefore, say 5
times crap.
Kennedy a corporate, say only the MPP, and eventually. Obe Winyanka Obe President of the Republic of Ghana. Sa babia wabwa brana kudruno. Onye nipa ebetimi abona asema gusa keke. What I say? Okasa wait ewom. Okasa tumi techiri. Kennedy birthday June mewa.
Aye. This week ya name so
dear. Yeah, ena okwa adoye. Oyado ye na zentrefo bisano. Ma bi asem ni fi bani o, e bisano si o. O party for ye de fa fare. Ho. Eno bo mu tokru. Kennedy na be kele sa afare ni sewa hospital debate no. Me wa. Obe kan ye na MPP a shift the fight from NDC aban and we didn't talk on Akusi Kennedy so because we are no cray. Kennedy chair Bob Ross no na defense chairman of the Interior Defense Committee of Parliament. 8 years no. MPP and Fashion and
no cray.
And you know need that moral justification so made because and 18 months at NDC abano. Omune so moye hospital no so movie obi abeka we a wo se yembongu ye bogu enye yi enya no cresa fare hospital no 8 years in no under MPP or man yeshri amfana. Enye no kre.
Sa.
Ose no na chairman of defense and interior. Eno na enye no kre.
No kre.
Wabeg ti amanfo to say. Abeg pa amanfo ho to say. Kwadwo se ye mungu because enanu bi wo ka se ma anya ne de. Ya nipa de. Ye ntimi please ni ye ho de bia. E woda be ka se ma tie obi. E woda obi be ka se ma oni ni be ye adwuma. That is politics. You cannot have enemies all the time. Your friend's enemy can be your enemy. It can be your friend. Your friend's enemy is your friend. And tiene se Kennedy are sorry. No, see, the MPP via Tiano. I ya Tiagana phone, you know, Barbecan. I don't know, man, a platform. Manin Kabi. And then you general so. Non come on. I see a general so. Non Cabri.
Okay.
Near Biaka. Yes, sir.
Sanity.
And Cadenia Beca. Yes, sorry, I meant central for the amount for Ancasa, then ye betro. Man can then ye benya biaka. And you know, Uncle Swankasa. Mestra bands of money protection. Security protection, police and a soldier for no more Kennedy who buy. Security. And yan to corner of Coppermid and some no becca menya biatro. Gana for Benya Piety and the Yame. And you buy one who buy. Said ye beya officer say, a member to Kennedy, so tinquem. Na and some no niache. Nianya biaka. You see, Kennedy we had become my MPP warning. So on betimati $5 million at to aside. No, they are say party, no guy. He said this thing before. So he can set aside $5 million to destroy the new patriotic party. Oh. And he said, ne, I bet to Nanutu. Say about me, Kennedy near Bronya to committee bakoso. So committees or Martin. Who's on your one committee?
More on one committee.
Go and get it. Some committees no matter. I brought you Kennedy with one committee.
A jam one cry.
We are then yes our pairing we. How can you do this? I brought Munim say I brought you throughout this flag bearership campaign. What Dick Kennedy at Tema through who got T committee and now they are brought you come. MPP to me celebrate Abronya, but no music can Kevin Taylor and papa. Between Abronya and Kevin Taylor. You see, and the Kennedy set the date not to her. Montreal date and to June, July 2027. Was here some BC. What I say? As someone that see a book home by any ever. I see. Here, sadden, necessary. You see, or can some maybe NDC for a more tone contracts. Our Mudibia Benny. You see, Quadro, you know, with him Kennedy Kakra. Okay, say, I Muntie frequency, share and one guy as you, or Moody Brennan, so on ton or so on to. I'll catch so okay, you know, in the honor and Subai a son or tear on your wholesale, like warehouse. Kennedy, near warehouse, I'll cast some chena. Na wajato ho etrana tinia ma esi o yibi fiso because some panu doors esi o kabi what I say no wajabi into okeka no wajanti ntimi M4 no that is Kennedy for you. He is fighting for Ghana. Ye nyina ye kuma Ghana se Ghana be yi sa man for be dia attract Ghana for no mu dia afari eba be ye politics na Kennedy be pomo to madie me the Kennedy bonia wa ye da natural. I say, on Pomon to Mamma. On expose you among Emma because no one will be no native, no chairman into only Nimini or Maye and no can. I do a Caboni or my do MPP movie, Kennedy in the movie. It is all no so about Cassa. I don't know who's shining crying. And my name Cassa. I don't know what's stop on. Adain. Why are you against the progress of Ghana? Are you an enemy of the state?
Edu be say kojo.
We enemy of the state because Mintiase can
yes
a man for bubu Ghana race Ghana na one no be us no mean to somebody so remember see something say something hear something say something but see something about say something that was won't say Kennedy hear something he's coming to say something Kwadwo want to block Kennedy was we will not agree. We will not agree. Kado, young support to us. I deal with who. A young man boy, son, now you know. A young man boy, son, now you know. And this is for Bejano. I buy your Kennedy. What Kennedy did. Now, other avenue. A dozen case. What Kennedy it light in no. Was it? Meditation found. What would every man to quite Kennedy, and now my mechanic him. No, we are Kennedy's about 18 years. Only one light. These are two individuals. One would like to baby. Kennedy. So Kennedy who bought some of us. Small scale. I don't know. Let's focus on the issue. And then the issue is not in the picture.
Okay,
Kennedy in somehow one more person about Bekano. And I may see Ghana Police Service. Woman protection. It will say taxpayers' money.
Say, baby, I agree. A Baka job from Krato, Baku Menumiensa, African agro Nebeshasia, a Charles McCarthy, editor in chief, and the Mother Hawk newspaper, Kojo Yeboa, Kojo Yeboa, a former youth organizer, the NPP, Ayawaso West Togon, Sanso Kasama, ordinary Ghanaian. Mubasisia.
Hi. Now let me tell you about Safari Valley Eco Resort, the first of its kind in West Africa. Upon your arrival, you are introduced to your butler, who plans your itinerary.
We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park.
So many activities, all in the same premises. Visit the gym or the stables, they have it all. At my break, I'm able to practice my putting.
We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife and how to interact with them.
They used only electric vehicles here. This creates a serene environment. I'm told it's over 1,000 acres. My cabin here sits on 2 acres with a large terrace space overlooking my private swimming pool. Now this is royalty. They have their own farms, thousands of fruit trees. I can also have my lunch here at the waterfall. Quite a beautiful place you have here.
Visit Safari Valley Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Na ede na ya obayi a wada forma so ne yafunu emunumuni.
Oh, Mr. Entry, also yare ya titi me ben fie pi nanso ne yam nyono da. Se me chew no ahodo amato a me hunu hwe a ebe ya nwanwa.
Menyi ni se what also tamfo Haxa capsules any Haxa mixture yanum bom kotia also no bia ma no anom. Anka ne ho ato no dadaada. Also dro de eno ne Haxa capsules any Haxa mixture.
Ankom ni nchiremu.
Also yekura eto yafunu ene ensunumu. Etuma wo yafunu ekeka wa. Wogire wo ho a enyi. Also etumi ema wo ye cheko ebra wadidi awie. So how eye also there compare Haxa capsules any Haxa mixture nanum bom na ho ebeto.
Pedudu atu a ko okanshi drug lane Kumasi Dani Herbal Takradi AA Mensa Anafre 02038228855 Apefo abatan ya woma won mofrenofo ene mofra woni mfie dumienu enka ho Haxa capsules ene ne mixture
all satan for edie age edwadie nkrato yi atom.
The serene environment fits into the goal of the school, which is simply to provide excellent educational foundation for your ward's development before they commence primary education. At first glance, clearly you will see why the school is called Hebron Hills International School, as the building stands tall overlooking town.
With a Montessori style, we have experienced and dedicated staff and trained teachers. Our small sizes classrooms are meant to enhance teacher-focused approach where children get one-on-one attention from the teacher. Hello there. We are open at 7:30 a.m. and school closes at 2:30 p.m. After school care is from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., while early drop-off can be arranged at 6 a.m. Hebron Hills International School is located at Midye off the Nsawam Road. Locate us with GP postcode GW0688 Ga West and GPS code 06884870. You can contact the school and make further inquiries on 050-876-2375 or call the office directly on 0302-918768. Email us at hebronhills.school@gmail.com. Hebron Hills International School. Excel and shine.
If I cry na menyisika, etia ye mefui.
Ehin fa pa na menya bosia, edia tre medwuma yimu.
Kai cry mabre, me ye bosia ato taxi fufu. Suhum Rural Bank.
Suhum Rural Bank.
Yema mwakwa baba Suhum Rural Bank. Ye won hyehyɛ ahodo bi te sɛ dwadifo abosia, ekukuro bosia, susu account, and it does all savings account. Me bada chain savings account, and the akeka ho. Press Suhum Rural Bank was 03422919896. Na won so what to me aka say.
Suhum Rural Bank. Ama ene mayeka una.
Suhum Rural Bank. Enti me pa minie.
Suhum Rural Bank, growing our heritage.
Obrabo eye edwumada. Eboa eyam eduane. Eboa eyi insa free ni peduanim. Na eboa woni pedua ma etena ho yie. Nanso wonim se niema a yedi na yenom. Timi ma brebo ye edwumaden sen pote.
Mehunda. Me brebo ye juma pa. Ebia se me ntumi ye bibi boa me brebo.
Ani, and nointing I want to live here from the Moses Clinic, we have our center about herbal food supplement. We see pa de boa brebo, ama e ye juma ye.
Na, ye juma.
Fatopa ye no, anopa ni enyumre. Na eboa ma brebo ye juma ye. Sani ebeya, ebetimi anyam aduane a wodi, esiesie ni peduane mu eyi mu finsi ye.
Eno na me brebo kia pa.
Ubenya Live Kid or pharmacy, herbal shops, ne supermarkets are ebeo. Sa wope dudu so etu a. Fresh 0244 06 8447. Live Kid. Wa wo brebo, wa wo ni pedua. Edro yi enye ma apemfo. E ma ema omomanofo. Ne mmofo a wonya mfie dumien. FDA age dwedie krato yi atum.
Okay, me samu akwa babiom the Bat TV XYZ. So bedi kan kase. Ye wo kojo ye boa wa ha sa so na eye Charles McCarthy. Wonim se edu fiada dia omo ana nkonya no. Sisi omo ni ho no obi aba na omo ho dia. Ombebe me edi nkomo. Sisi ade wonim se World Cup koso a Ghana edi kan edi nkunim Wednesday Thursday ma ye ni ajepa. But still no say bi mo kan kofo pese omo kokohwe ne meka ho. World Cup yankasa. Me pese edi hu nkomo. Kojo wo ne say
me da asiri mi amza fa kwanya so me cheti fo ne ahwefo mo hwe
yenkoye ni
woni bibi
tese oka
wake up no say football anka kanipa bo mi ba na metio kanipa bo mu pa na no nyumra ye nyina tan osi pa hwe ball no first half do timi say ade ane ye ndie na nye ball nyankopon adaroma e no gege ono nyame na hu say
atizigi anchen
nyame na hu say ye hwe first ye hwe ntemo mbeti even extra time ye hwe ye kra mpo no some few minutes be ka na ihu ka kra mi gomote nyame na de ko sa akona na nya sa wangu no etima o man no ene te utumi o man ye ya de unam kromu a Ghana gesi obia hyebi e good enti so ya buy na baswa sa me ma we ne betima bo wa masabia mu se what me sustain wa buy no na me D&D simpanimfo ho ya papa and this my friends the cabinet ministers
oh D&D no D&D simpanimfo
because decision I can say in the cabinet it koyi no mutiki sa decision no it na me se me di omo ya no because me kai I kata 2022 so kai and NPP time mu sa time
na bi mu na akogu ho
sa time no say dollar na dollar nam 17 na fuel nam 23-24 per liter but omu say e good ye de nkrofo ne kwai de nipa 1000 kra ko na 400 ba na 600 ko nya djuma ho no mu ya no boa abusua na aka wo foma no ama sabi omu so so dey ensa ko mo no mo de bibia ba timi no ka say kata mpa unze kata nye kro bia de ne ho sa but still now sa wake up no and Ghana for NPP for do running in to ko wura mu enya enyuma ye e ko so de share I'm telling you I share abusua ni mu nyam sa enya kra me party be manya bi na woni mi se ho no ma ye die ba be Nyankopon adaro ma Africa Cup yan qualify nyame yo do hihye niam o ene qualify World Cup ye qualify World Cup no ta ni gya bakure mu ade ma nkrofo kura ni GNDC mutu aba kese ka ho World Cup we ka ho pa o and this is supported no be ko World Cup ya hihye niam e mo no be ka che say minister be ka say da bi o World Cup no mutimi mfa Ghana ska enfo bi anko e wo mu an ese nya wo ekabeba o mampani sa ba bondi se da bi you be make sure that corporate body say no be kasa
you dey double so chia mo papa
yeah genes champion lady but we be an check say o ye nipa dodo salad way you share come na say NDC the double en chia nkoma no
o so chia mo
nipa too much
so ko wanim
wouldn't be NDC supporters ina nim etua eno mampani ba bondi be kasa o da bi o ye ka se enfo mo nko ba se say there ye ankran ye from no mo bin businessmen ni adade won maboa ye
corporate
Ghana ni adade it took us mo ye fundraising kase bi sa and KG $10 million engineers and planning me and my brother Ibrahim mama baby obi an check $5 million and omo ya ma chatawale ni stone boy mo different all adults pa
oh nyuma bebre banks
ahoro later me di many firm no mo say hia be 35 million betuma di crofo ko me hia be 33 it we are almost there everybody say po bimpo abro utuma say enti waka pedo na chese ehu edudo na ni do na betima kwam na yi aban the paper beto so amadodo na enya visa na dia me ya no say omo sa tena segigi NDC from region from national to region to constituency executives and this for me dudo ni nyina ya gigi on passport omo so am de kope omo ya djumom de letterhead beto so ni omo ye ni nyina e de bae so ye de omo ko kenua ne se wodo mbeko na party renye ni munyam na ke party timata ze
yo mu se ma wo ke mentwa wa no wo hwe Trump restrictions in adiaba easy going to America
omo na anu aye MPs ni na ye bo MPs be bre ba kumpo de to so no eso ne girlfriend wo dwane ba camera ne chi no original camera e fa no ho ne Canada anagye me share ne pa me money din wutima se sa edaniema wanyina ye de obi ko try no wanya na ye abide the paper to bibi so bi fanko enko visa no wanya na party fo no ye omo etu aba edwene se bi obenya Mexico akwa na Canada akwa na se US akọ enunti no yire ne ho omo ye campaign ni ade ni nyina kra na no so to be even every constituency within constituency MP now to be the nipa 10 ekwa na say the fine bokwa wouldn't say plus for your next election
and the party
and the party ebeboa Ghana so ama Ghana mpuntu akonanim ye sa na we nyina akọ so ye wia na ebusa we sika na ye nya ye no na na ya bobo ya amfa Ghana ni ba akokora anko na de ye me ye twa me sum say mabusi amfo be 4 bi o Canada 2-3 days before the way no ball no and no no so ya from mpo e detect ya mom so mo konko hwe ball ni bi
aban ya de ho pa ma
aban yehu
o why ade no
onye hu
obi ti won
the next election no ko dance for no ko find people for to meto abama what man say na ewu bia no bi say take ni mpo ba ko say it is size can be na corporate body this can buy no size can wo he
can omji som
de kono ka say mutimu say mo de Ghana di na gigi scan se make no ka Kofi Adam no ko gina ho se Ghana for money scan no fan kwa say se Kofi Adam sa me ye sure say ke 10 cities kwa konya ba wo de Ghana di e o man panid na nimu nyam e be tade na chintinu ene nkrofo tupu di skabe gu mu am na broso ye wi na bu se ada na de Ghana di be nkrofo bo am ye se de nkrofo okọ am leshe wo ye nimu ye nkrofo tima anya rehemu ato aba sa ye wase wase ogo me kon so ziboti nipa be 5 call ya obi ara go anjua next time bedroom so what ma say me no ka say o mo agege dudu ni nyina passport ama Kofi Adam za kogu dem ene otu mu no koye obi opa do open passport nko no ampo dia na de passport onya I'm telling you me nia ba kwa me nim say ne passport okọ hu ntokwa wo no ope e de tukwa o hwe na nyeyi to ope da ko China ko na de okọ hu passport na okonya ne passport e de ko ye na abaya waba wo first attempt a security service moto to pa so my first 5,000 musu offer ye hu de ko se extra man pani be announcement ye for 5,000 kan ho Saturday and this for the car submit mo 5,000 so kai wo mo je constituency ba constituency ama Kofi Adams afa we IBC Kofi Adams mutaka afa we se miss say 4,000 about them ama 2,000 so anybody no mo the disqualify mo on ya emphasis bi ani so
no aban no his excellency John Mani Mahamba can say
actually make my child let me give it am NPP for 5 for actually the president kan no afa no mo so apply bi o mo nyina o mo nya true what must say but this for no di ka call ya fa we say me say e kwa fa so ya mo no ye ba ni ye ni nyina support security service ya nkrofo na anyam
okay
wake up abana wake up and advantage ya nyina US US nyina obi a una see US akọ the final place ya kanya crowd even there yam bono be ko ba bia station yam for the TVS radio gold na hoto ni ade even slot me no na ba ko nkrofo be ko commentary ya mo me ka radio gold o mo so mbam mo only one slot me use o mo de no nipa na mo de man wo twa kwa sa ma ne pa bo akra hi wo jai na mo ya sa ne ma we ya adam mo ya fi se be collection na ana mo nam na wo motimi Kofi Adam se timi the issue we akọ parliament o yin say e mu yin say be wo de akọ cabinet meeting na cabinet etima transfer
enti na obetumi aka say wo single Kofi Adams out to say
one way minister one way the proposal ne call ye and o call ye no convince mpanifo ebi am
say no abona kan say mama omomo obi anko
wo se me won fiam obi anko say any interest of the nipa be kwa nke Kofi nyan say ke eniema agun ambassador say ana de we aye basa na ndisi fo meka chew wonu say ndisi fo yi edi ya ofie pa
sa
what one no be the method aba ball aye body 11 o'clock no who expect so be fia emre center ba bi measure ball na no be share ko no kuna
oh but MPs na be
wo ade number 1 Ghana ha yenye hu ni in the night na ma onipa dodo say o mo ka o nante no for bicycle obi de ade bo no
say be mo ACC stations ni ade no
station be ya ayewa me yuso ayewa so go wo be fi de so obi afi animu na e so obi fi ni fie ko ba bi wo ba nante fie say wo ko osu market na ma anybody say close e bi papa ye anse ko to ba bi ayiwe no bo ye say obi say me de dokro mo na ma organize dokro na wo anaju ne di dokro wa nya bibi amu asasa e bon kro no nsamfu say wo ka che ni pase wo organize kenke ball so nya kenke di anyumre ye bi na anaju tamben ball in the end the end tempo 8 o'clock and ya na to say we say did you say didn't tell 5 o'clock na ya nya yare wo de akwaje 11 wo de na dokuri ya duane edina najo na san hyehyɛ full say isi o some better say plan say me conscious be nipa ba ko mienu miensa e de omo ye dey e de omo ye dey e de omo e ya de no what must say, one year no, a crab and nipa me and somebody to US. Now me call around so but I mean there's some no been take it will just my bedroom musumoso. Who be no crama way. Would I find a coca banku and I do. I'm will be a cocody. And yes, somebody could fear them baby obiano. I went on to a yantia. What bounce on Yama was on that from no mamma for be a passport man. Nanko for or more apply for more individual will be anti the best. Na Weberman from me no once on by branch election weekend yeah be some this for your interest but when you are in na no post obi an interest o back of forms mpo because abana wo to ye no dia no wo hwehwe no ni nyina mo bi e mo emfa what must say
abai bai in group
na me na no want to fear them o di organizer wo eh no won want to be organizer da because organizer bia da ogi base hu
o no person chese on aboko fi Adams ndweno bia
what this dey bia individual on nko na obi ne ho say ye wako na na ye bo so na mo
say wan kokra na say say your point ahro wa hwe ball ni
go pandi you agree on wotim mo sports forum na mo na so prepare anya kra na ba ko to do US a wa ma bia mu pa ye wa ma pa ye wo dey amfa di per 1000 ko 600 ngani never 400 mra back ni antikro me kotoko wo so kai and plus me ndo ball last year wo dey adom ko ball nko mu dwane ye e ko si say o mo to mo enjoy now they in Canada or penipa or Canada man farms now that and we do fra o ne ka wo Canada we farm bi bia ne ko so kama what must say ye penipa do mo akone to niam ya kofi mi na odikum wagigi nkofo passport so be fa wan kompu me man ko bi ma je gudem hwe na ne Panama ball an yebo Ghana supporters say no wo shaye de na ketua bi na se ho ni nyina ya Panama fo nko a ti ade ne sa de we ye te wonum akufu adu ne MPP ba wo mutimi ye obu base ada wo Ghana mo dia Ghana musica no am kwa na ba yusu ana Nicholas kwaya abane de omufu so jese fa so no me de me da me na wo because MPP nya party nya alternative ese man ba power ese make sure say ye ba ma ye nkrofo na wo fom na di yie ama mo atutu yie na me ba na me ya maadi o kasem ese obi atutu and deals for 1 year and na wo bi aka choto pe contest bi wo tradis for wo ba ma no share wo so tradis abroche na abaya e free ese odi ni pa kodo fa di pa anko wo me tradis ma wan wo tia for what
oh ani de nchon say timbra
pa emra ban eti ese me ba
utia bi
eti yahuza na odi wo ye de saa no a emra ba ya want man kom ni mo fa so ne say kwasi poku anu e de na onama ran na kwasi anko what no kwasi so no krasa
sule ni krasa
wa fresa we obi asabi na nimpo hu ade
no be de
what man say eti kanya krani afọ no no sister na ne brother bi na kese no kwasa for brother bra na onko bi na de ne nya de no obi e wo party na de ba power na e benefit film what man say but this afan say no one more appointees ni pe be enjoy ye Ghana ye eti utimu a osu tram sa ne nko what be that so petrol ya na reduce by onika e reduce anya na sem dollar be $11 ba once the pa oni bia o de dollar wasem money bi wo form no so nye bi opportunity bi ba money bi no so wonto no eno na betia mo party na timi nyina che nyesa ye be ni say o who can say Kofi Adams nkro for mo frefre no ye bobo ni dia kasam ministry na okwa na de to me kodwo e bo apa de wo ye disappointed minister papa Kofi Adams
ejuma Kofi Adams
ye former organizer pan kasa gene a former for who make a ball you na so convince man pani na get 33 bi akoko for base 35 akawanya nda $70 million ni a play be 4-5 ni aswa e ho akọ ni asaba ya ba de adwuma be ni boto wutima say and obia na gufi yi obia nko bi obia I will to show mo be MP we be vice president we be minister say a form the serious and abe hu mo obia nka ho ye nko to abamie no nko na say opportunity ni ba mbeko eti umfom no ye sure to chon be ko to biem we are sure sentina ho sen ko fom to aba no wo nyina end this election mo ko e be to say 85% omo ko no post obia nya interested me conscience say me boys no obia so nya interested so we ko to aba what man say o ko to for what or contest for what dia no okoje opportunity bi enu aba ni nyina mo na nko bi akufa do timi by otimi fa mo di 40 years nyina ko police ni soldier and no mo ya officers officer bi anche officer no so wo chatare mi chatare ni nyina na mu ututu amatutu bosume so oja maje asa ni no na nipa hwehwe Would you to one ban obey AI or being exams? No on baby one side for 40 minutes. Now Nipatin Abueti. What time to disqualify? We are to be clear, we have a system. We are about to catch a gun, and Bruno, or we are bueno, or more about for 4,000. Me, Miss me Yario, me the man who's from no make catcher and these when he wants it. Yabana Casa, I'm a baby, now you show Mukumasan, baby, woman, money, I don't care. You buy me, you me money, because Yama, dear, woman be Biamia shape, but I'm still in. You buy a Jumano, buy a more big money at the Magani and Munaza Proprasa Corridia. And Namu Mamma tell me to die, more dying, and see a die. Never more black. I work up a bank, I have advantage and phone Kobe, and no small jatum, Obian Kobe, no, and the most are sorry, MPs are sorry, drew, ministers are drew, and the CEOs are drew, Asa 2024 corner, with the Mungas Animano.
Could you, Medase, I'm a member, sir, Charles McCarthy, Yentio.
Nicholas, sports, dear.
I mean, in pass, I would
never field. But as somebody DH, Honorable Kofi
Adams, or Boy Jumapa.
One day, why not dream say, and ya dear or his supporters beko. The difference in it, Justice Jamafe, Okofa 2014. President Mahama set up committee on 11th of August 2014. Justice Jamafe committee, no. So, among why Ghana perform poorly. Now, committee no recommendation, key recommendation is that yen discontinue state-sponsored travel for supporters. How does that affect the players on the field? Nicholas, just the Jamafe committee report to the Abana. Now, players and more boarding will park as well. Supporters there, if I The second point was prohibiting cash payment to players advocating for bank transfers. My chair table. So the third point in the Medeno, ensuring the inclusion of local-based players in the national team. Kofi Adams is interested in ensuring that the first one were implemented. The third point in the one you're interested. So we see my supporters any team nothing kwa Nicholas. There is another recommendation. So yeah, sure. See, there are local players. Ewo team ni mo. Team yo mudiako Canada, Panama. Players do not send a local. And they enyamo hears them and they infamo home. The foreign based team nako. And I support no say foreign based support. There's nothing Ghanaian about the people in abroad as far as World Cup here concerned, apart from supporters or moved or more you see 2014 MPP by Qatar
Qatar 2022
Ghana Kobe
Kobe
or more implement our committee report. Now report to any
no on someone fine ejuma
Muna we are above for we have faced politics and more ye Ubia sports will station with and February near DFA for the Nipper common friend opportunity abamaba mbe sponsor mbe monso akunya no makobino mo se da bi mo for monko but me says there your best sponsor no mako yes and no the two just say 948 supporters and no mama mu take it can you go last take it no more for World Cup on there are 4 categories. The first category is $60 for these opening matches, these games, beginning games, and it depend on the city and the place. Now, so $60, you must be a resident of host nations. Unye resident untimin taught sa ticket in $60. Ghana, Panama, there no $140. Ghana, England is going for $600.
Easy.
600 into calculation na your multiplication now you are still spending. So committee is may spending on supporters why buy ticket for supporters? Because Justice Jamafel committee was explicit. Was it may spending on supporters to go and watch the match? Then I will to ticket at home. You see, don't create problem for yourself. Don't create a problem. Na abeye diama party communicators so be defend their deal. And na kwaje bubodi. Abolo no mo amaye communication to mu fe kozipo kunumo Joe Ashama no mo. These are the opportunity for party boys to also go and represent and come back. There was supporter unions for Ghana. Not a single one of them. Enanya support to go and support the team. It is not a good practice and yet a good start. Nicholas, so decision we are on my fan. A man for between oka. A man for between oka. Because minimum be a what you leave. What you letter to so. What could you say US? Oman process. Hey, the can't tell that you move for do a doom phone. No, shed them. Oh, Ghana. Try to so shed them. What? That's the what did let me a ball. Party executive. Party executive. The passport no konti wakra aje letter fi edwuma. Edwuma man release. What do you mean? No jare no kwa apply mpo anko betimi anya akọ because position will cry. Anyway bi na me fan account mu de obetimi anya akọ. Mo age se mo ya ama no. For protocol o ma dey about for passport the protocol. Edu so akoka dem. Ema and a man for Cosaline and a US embassy so na address obed deny mu nyina. Now you deny players who support and they deny. And you know it is not a good thing. You see, your politics that you must at all times create opportunity for your people to benefit. Sir. Obi or some party or doom party so single opportunity be NDC in Mako Canada, NDC in Mitimiko me call US. And umpo enough. The bureaucrat they call Bragiso or Benya Kwanyako. And American Justice Jamafel Committee no 2014 NDC Fiabemu 2016 17. Akufa do be take over your World Cup ni bi omo the players ko ye. Yaba na yaba. Yeah. Okay, so famous. I Ezekiel Yaba na yaba Egypt. Yaba na Egypt, yes. So omo abi mu ko fa baby Egypt. Pyramid no. Pious Enam Hajide. You know, most do as far among for the Gold Coast, Australia, Commonwealth Games. Move for Nasi for our journalists, Eddie Marcon. No, me a party for all campaign, one is or the year campaign. All parliamentary campaign. No, started the year campaign. What Tina and Obey MP, he will still do that thing. No, that is it. Into opportunity, but you create opportunity for your people. You don't deprive the people. You the two be in Fabua nipa. Mem fatumi no entity nipa. Mem fatumi no en hanipa. You see, re nyamu ye be ka jemu. Like you can't understand the thing. So bia. Well, you be do honum. Anya bibia na be kan o. Ndi na si kro bi din dikaje bi. Ye be kan ne eja bi. Samani bi wo wa ye se ye be kan time. Yenim wo yenim guase. I say and sem fata. You can't understand. You can't wrap your head around it. Say adentia. Say monkey they work, bamboo they chop. Obi atnaga na to aba. Party aba. Obi owo US awa metro aba no. Ya man ticket. One to a ticket to Ghana ball. What are you talking about? NPP for Ankasa. Obi o Canada one to a ban. Or no Canada na one to a ban. One man ticket to Uncle ball. and what to Ghana now, what to about Ghana, what team now could do a be a good amount for more support to Team Africa. Koba left and right now. Across was Omudiomuko Shebon or Canada. You don't insult people like this. Men didn't part them to this level. Say committee report to be a Modi banner, ye do white paper to Suneya. I was West Wagon. Committee report, no. I go white paper to so. Omudi to one can say some George. Eya Yamrasa no Mabonasu. MP cry a bonus, money, go some fine way. But not people will not report to no daho or one fine year. And is the monia to me the biaza mona monia tiabro so be bree. A bian is a pre-bargain with my dear to Mudia Bible and more worship pre-bargain. Maben Combra, a month for bit Piahuka.
Martina said, Yamea Doma Quisiada Father's Day. Now, Father's Day na AM the Moses Clinic and Poultry Center. Say yan kanche a gentleman na kojo Charles McCarthy or so Prince and
$450.
And yes, one of the expensive.
Almost ticket to Canada $450. Madame Fubu Canada Nidia
so be
any or anyway. And yeah, money di and on. I remember. Wakoshwe wa Toby akohwe. Me wa $440. Ticket now maton amount for ton with the business.
Enti Father's Day mema da nyame adoma kwesida. The Moses say idea nyame adoma Saturday or ye free health screening 20th 8 a.m. anapa wo the Moses branches in ministries Ghana Highways Authority Adenta Barrier Aje Kojo near Ashama ene Kumasi Ahimai Kokoben. Open wase maybe sa frɛ 0244 068447 ex natural mineral water aba me pacho baby o Ghana ha bia opesu tu koton a for any chemo nkran osu Abrebrese street wo ba ha bisa baby XYZ ye na himfie ni wo ba depo kese na wa ha nsuo no wo pe 350 na ese bon wo pe 500 ansa na wo pe 750 say say yes sachet wo ba ni na wo benye bi ato etu akoton wo ne ebusan so na ekono ma wo benye bi akonom kama ma baby etumi akonkan wo kom mo wo Ghana ha baby aso nsebeke bi saso no betumi afre factory na car na bro bi was 0596273546 and 0596273547 na BBA to me akonkai Safari Valley Eco Resort to say yen can show sir me pacho weekendi Father's Day na wa for papa wa for wukunu wa for wo guy bi no na ko kakra na makwaji mani makwhwe emwa hro ene eniema ekoho aduane papa room se wo ho ne ade nijesem Safari Valley Eco Resort na me come for amode wu heya na wo Eastern region kwe na wonu ho de wo dofo eko ho for reservation for 0596 9143 Saso na Divine Hope Herbal Center omo de otwea herbal powder ba ebo edwuma ye osisi na ye oya be ma waye mbre wompem unye bidua ebeboa oba me pa cho bu nsa wo hu ni yie olibido no fo munya otwea herbal powder ebeboa yi pa ma bibia etumi akọ enkan otwea herbal powder enye na Ghana ha bibia ye ton aduro bia na nso onya sacheta me pa cho na wapensu share kakra enye so share be popo wonu mu na wodi egum warm water na wetumi abon guma open ho asem ebisa afre 0591 565557 and 0550639037 na woni mpedifo nkasa na bibia entumi enkonkai power specialist herbal hospital say men control say hepatitis A B C D and E saso na fatty liver sciatica prostate and wonsane wonan na ebu pain me pa cho bebre fibroid na how compo ni na no power specialist herbal hospital betumi aboa ma bibia etumi akọ enkan Kumasi branch in Ofeyase Lake Busumchi Road opposite Jesbro filling station wa wo be hu mu wo ho saso na Accra branch wo kwa benya Pokuase ACP kwan no so ho Takrade branch no Anaji Estate adjacent Anaji MA Primary School 0244 544422 020 038 3831 we pa cho mon fansuo no bi mbra ye na ye nom na bibia entumi enko enkan emfema na bibia so endadi embaye ma membra studios biemu embre no kwaye papa we de 2 minutes yenhwe pre-bargaining chairman wontumi nsem no
me zamfa kwanya so nchetie fo na hwefo bi wonim pre-bargaining e buy de me we ya buy now buy unso buy no say ene ma bet ne ade ne de enyen wo yefi ho se de be nipa ho betima hare no na wo bone buy na hye mrabon wo se mrabon pa enti Nicholas se na be koso dia se me ho no ma metima akọkọ buy bi na me dia una wane dia ma about 30 million Ghana cedis and dollars wo de ye adwuma ne later ye ba ne ba be cho so mi se wo ade wo de ma me ade am se me be ma mfa anye enti entrance ne enka enya sabe ne wo emra wo ne tumi na to send this be mo betwam mo be ye fi okra ma points no mo wo ne no omo wu se bibi sa ni won wo window na NPP fo nim se omo abokro no mo je da yi window no and this for be so yon plan so be wura sa window no eti ade fun so mo nyim fi ho enya sabe ne wo en na ma wuntumi wo da hwe niam a wuntumi aye wono no pacha so pese o pre-bargain wa ekwa omo fa so omo di delay ehun panifo akasa enu ti amom change lawyer no and the appear could be one that you beg kind of what omo dey buy time omo dey buy time
okay
what man say said the buy omo hu panifo ni ade one hwe ya untumi case we enkonkwesi aga because NDC for no ahode omo dey buy ye ni momentum omo dey buy no but omo dey omo nyom plan so be ade papa bi mu cases say wo wa so mu di eche no mu ye ni ye no wo hwe de we niam ko slow course ni ade na won't be any patch obi yet the chrome na nsi boss okay ya tavi William Tavier what must say one is causing financial loss to the state because on got a young got microphone or quite a phone and what they buy and untino papa we could them or cocrana sabi no or yare what must say ning na check for them to be jelly no kama o jelly ni pa mi ensa na ba kokoko film na ka mi nu ning na chi no wo ba wo de microphone pa bokro no anye so o mo de bibi ba yo wontumi hwe na no wono so sabi nipa de edu ba bi na so adwene adwuma na adwuma wontumi asa akokotena one of the radio station the TV station as I can say 100,000 acres farm no ye no enso na be say ni nyina na only 1 acre how many plot now 100,000 acres enso na e dia river ti na river plan fa ho na ko fa ho nyina na say fuo no na wakono ko keka sabi nsamfu sei e de kire Ghana fo wo wie so a de man ye yempo ni se wutumi edu ba bia medwuma mentia se issue say bampo enka so abonten e de na no me ami nua kuma sa brantie ya oyi onkoko chi ni abutreka oba abonten me bufu na sa brantie we pa
me ne mo sabi dia nsamfu ni platform so kasa mo bisa on se wasem ye nkan
wasem so ye hu one mo sa we na the only lawyer
this your satellite abeda so
and na wuntumi ensem fo wadi ono sa akoton kokko chechire mu okochere mu se ensuo na baba ebe shin efudie ni nyina na bro wona se ensuo se na ensuo se uni afofro asase won ko da se udi afofro what man say ada ni wan ye bi
ko no fesi mame na
na nim de funu se fuo na na eso ye no eso de status ko afuo ni mu enti eso
de na odua o
eso ta bi o so utimi de tractors do de machines ye no na onim de wuntimi ye ya na simple okọ bi ye honum tekima areas to uzo ofuo ne tractors mu na watwa eno twitwa nkrofo tractors
asase ne da ho ya
nkrofo tractors e adwuma no eno twa no de bread bank wuntimi ye obi o ye more than we dangerous o no kwa fast o every receipt e cover sakwa we case we na woto na mo jeje so
na mo ye fa abo na na ne we gugu o si gold na o de be gugu
no di ni patem we yes kan de ko di
so we my embre na so
and this na wondo mo ntwen na wuntimi case we wo mo nye case we tro kan e wo Ghana ye no be chia yam wa we di ya no po de ye nyi asem for the date
can you go last
yeah okay. The judgment
and now I say Mahama rating a drop by is it 10 point or so from 70 or 60 something to 50.
Musa abatwa so chia mo pa na mo kan na no kre.
Yeah, so.
Asanwase.
Omo aja ko to baabi.
Can you go last?
Also chia Mr. Brown so forestry.
Sir, I drop no. Is any more na ma approval rating no. I drop. A man for Didia no more president Mahama Muni say Oba in the last term 4 years. Into no on drill biaho or no Ashagana for Boss Oba in a legacy term. Say legacy term there at least. My Mranye Juma. No, you who say rule of law is working. But it appears say pre-bargain win na Attorney General na to say any mra or no pay. You see, NDC buy no omabe cancel nema be bro. Wa e levy o mutwa mu bola tax o mutwa mu emra be bro wa o mutwa mu magana fon wan ha omo. No bi ape. The so ba no abetu pre-bargaining sa mra ya amanfo di abetu I don't know what dia to. I don't know who use some rano. Why can't you go and fight for the repeal of this law? Because Obia for Banchi, Obi Banchi, the man could them 3 years. Obia for be board there, or could them Obia you are 90 million, 200 million, $1 million, or see Mitrebi. Can you go last? And I say never book chrono. What it means is that Omo wa bemu ne. Appointee biazo betima for mine sika. No they acquire the business. So china bi aban sesa aban foforo ba. No no makoy arrangement se metria. Se sa na tie dia yenyi core system nim fi hwe. There's nothing like criminal prosecutions, criminal procedures and what have you. They betima sa negotiations we are. And the uria sika na aban foforo ba na wakoro me fa say nti mama yenko che emwa samran de yemrafo eyemrafo pre-bargaining way eyemrafo na men ko bi nko omo shega na for bozo me operation recover all loot nti eye recovery no mo ye wo be ka wi akire me na nsase no zemo recover nsase
yo mama fa na sekese ma eye kojo yeboa or former youth can fast
so mampani tu kwa ba ye no mun kan che se o kono na microphone bi ni sister ye CEO for no se best 8 o mi na di sister 2 sister 3 ni ade na mra na kire pefe wo di sister on timi CEO etu aba onyi o na mra ntẹ bi nya adwumanye
ene so ho yo kojo yeboa former MPP youth organizer Yawson West Wagon osanso kasama ordinary Ghanaian sanso na Charles McCarthy editor in chief the Hawk newspaper ami di dwumedi ho chia me from Nicholas ya osi also with me from Nicholas minda production team ni na say free cameras ko MCR ba obi bia obo ai ma dwumedi ba wo so wo fia wo hweye so ana bebi wo bi wo hweye wo tie ye no so wo so kan obi ma program etumi abewi kama nyame hiraw emom ye kan bibi na ntwe ye amomfanche bo twa se no nim se ne tiatia nyame amba ye be se hia da foforo nyame nka ho no hiraw bye bye emom news papa ina kan